I
Like
call
lucid dreaming is awesome.
lucid dreaming. Yeah, I call deja vu lucid living. So like lucid dreaming would be like deja sleep.
Yeah. Have you had deja vu? Because I've had it
Oh,
probably
dude.
15, 20 times. And I mean, like, so strong that I'm like, holy fuck. And it's been
Like,
in like when I was in a different country. So it can never have been the same thing. So I'm not
oh,
even, I'm in Scotland. Like, this couldn't have happened to me before. I'm in a different
I
country.
love that. Okay, this is what I believe about that. So I believe in Jesus and I believe in the Bible, and I believe him when he says that we sat with him before the beginning and that we wrote our stories together and he knows who we are before we were us. And so when we have deja vu, I think that is just a glimpse of that time you sat with Jesus and
And I
decided
can,
your perfect path. And so when I think that's sometimes why it happens like just randomly. So like
yeah,
it's not about
completely random.
the great grandeur in your life. It's about just the everyday moments and that's just a little confirmation that you're on the path.
I think
That you're
like my
right where you're
first
supposed
time
to
I
be.
ever like consciously recognized it, I was like 20, walking to the store to get milk, and I was walking down some street that I've never been down before because I was in a different province. Like,
Mhm.
wow. And the more I took, like probably 15 steps, and every step it was like I was like, I could feel it emotionally. Like, why? What's going on? Like, I thought I was having a stroke. Am I going to faint? I didn't know what was going on. And then it just disappears. Like, wow, that was weird.
Oh, I love that. That is super cool that it was very intense. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
it's
almost like a
because
lucid dream. I was trying to keep myself in it.
yes, that's what it is. So, like, when you have your day, if no one's ever lucid dreamt, it's exactly like deja vu. So you're sitting there, you realize, oh, this has happened before. You might even be able to have that thought of this has happened before. But as soon as you go, what happens next? You bring your consciousness into it,
Yeah.
and it's too much. Now because you were like living in your subconscious. So when you're dreaming and bring your subconscious into it, it's the same thing. Like when I did it, I was when I lucid dreamt, I walked around this I was walking with my sister. She said something about the election, and I said, "What did you say?" And she was like, "Oh, nothing." She acted like I never mind, I shouldn't have said that. Like that was the impression in my dream that I got from
Yeah.
her and so we took a couple steps and I realized I was dreaming. And so I said, "Hey, you can tell me anything you want because I'm dreaming." And I was trying to convey to her that even say it in a weird way. Like you could tell me the crock pot's blue with the chickens or something, and I'll be able to understand it because I'm
Yes.
dreaming like this is dope. And so she wouldn't. She was just like, nope. We walked around a corner. She speeds up and walks kind of ahead of me into a building. She walks ahead of me, and I just stand there and I'm like, damn. And I realized, wait, though, if I'm dreaming, I should be able to fly. Boom, immediately flying. I'm like,
Yes.
oh
Yes.
shit. So then I'm up, 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 up really high. And that's when I brought my consciousness in because I could feel the like whatever the butterflies in my stomach. And I was like, oh no, because I don't know how to fly.
Yeah. I'm
And
too
instead
high.
of thinking of something to do next, I thought of how to land or what to I just brought too much consciousness to do it. And I was awake. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no. So yeah, that was really, really freaking cool.
Yeah, because I used to lucid dream a lot when I was a kid. Because I used to have a reoccurring nightmare, and it was the exact same stupid. Because at first it was scary, but then like the
Mhm.
15th time, like this dumb nightmare again, and I'm like, wait a minute, it is a nightmare. Wait a minute, I am dreaming. And then I started to love nightmares
Whoa. How,
because the scarier, like the more unreal. Because like a nightmare, there was like a vampire. Like vampires are real. Oh, I'm dreaming. Yes, yes. Or a
yeah.
lion. I see a lion. Like, there's no lions in Canada. Yes, I'm dreaming.
Oh, that's exactly what that they have you do. They say like just ask yourself questions during the day because it'll prime your mind to be doing that while you're dreaming. So then you can kind of do what you just said. Go, hey, there's no whatever lines in Canada. That's so dope. So
And
did you ever do anything specific in those dreams?
oh yeah, I fucking had a Ferrari in my garage. I had the hottest girl for like everything, whatever you want to do. It was there. It was so
What?
awesome.
What if you found out that
Punch
you
people in the
weren't
face. I punched so many of my bullies in the face. It was fucking ugly.
that is pretty dope. You can get some of your aggression out. Okay,
Oh yeah.
but what if you found out that you were actually controlling like the
Real
southern
life.
hemisphere? Yeah, something in someone's real life.
I don't know. I know
Uh,
lucid dreaming happens the most just before you go to sleep and just as you're waking up. So right in your REM sleep, so not your deep sleep
wait, REM sleep is your deep sleep. It takes 90 minutes to get there.
or whatever it is before your deep sleep.
Yeah, I don't
I
know
thought
what
that
those are.
was your REM and deep sleep was something else.
Oh, you might be right. You might be right. I have no
Because
idea.
you know when you see people's
Let's look it up.
eyelids like fluttering and stuff, and you're like, hey,
Mhm.
what? You know, you can see them thinking, and their
That's the
eyes look
REM,
left
right?
and right. Yeah, that's when I think you get your lucid dreams in. But when you fall into a deep sleep, I think your whole body just shuts off, so you don't get the eye flickers.
Oh, I think you might be right. Okay, let's see. Stages of sleep. Let me bring this up to share. Hold on. Before I went live, I got high with a little help from my friends in Discord, and they said ask Nova about fight milk.
They were doing meme copium, and then we're trying to do their fight milk thing. Do you know what I think fight milk is? Simulated cum.
What?
I think that's what they're drinking. I think that's why Camelot's right into it. Think about it. It's got eggs, like thick, slimy, fucking, and white milk, and it's just fucking simulated cum drinking. That's why they get so excited about it. And normal think it's gross.
Oh my god! I didn't expect you to say that. Okay, that's hilarious.
Hey,
I don't know if you're wrong. Is she here? Hey, girl. In a second, I'll get back to Rumble and try to pull up chat.
What's the reason for fight milk?
That's
What's the
hilarious.
point of it? It's got a little bit of alcohol in it, so you could just do a shot. But instead of doing a shot, you're going to put eggs and milk in it to show you are capable of swallowing gross stuff. Like, I don't understand the point of fight milk. Hey, Vicky.
Good morning. Okay, yeah, I don't know what to do if we should share the fight milk thing. Try to find it.
It was
how long ago? It was hours ago.
Cool Frog was there. He took his shirt off.
What?
I don't know if he drank any fight milk, but I know he took his shirt off.
Oh, he has his shirt on here.
Meme had some struggles. Keep going way back. Way back.
Max is here.
Yeah. Keep going back. There's that girl who should have got divorced. Her husband should have divorced her.
Are you watching on stream or are you watching on StreamYard?
Sorry, yes, I should be watching StreamYard.
You're behind, and
I was watching chat.
Okay. So it was after the expert and Max.
Exactly. Cool Frog was there. She wasn't there. Cool Frog was there. Meme was there. Who else was there? Maybe it was later on. I can't remember.
Ozzy?
I don't remember that guy. Ozzy Overlord definitely wasn't there at the time.
Wasn't there at the time.
You should just be able to scroll until you see shirtless Meme. Because he's got a black shirt on. So
shit,
it
worked.
Shirtless. Yeah, shirtless. There he goes. Scroll back.
Shizzy. They're not all going to drink the cum milk.
Have you ever seen that guy who did the hit or miss 24 hours?
No.
So there's this stupid clip from a song called Hit or Miss. Bet you never miss, huh? You got a boy. Did you ever hear that one?
No.
What? Oh, type in hit or miss.
No.
Force this into your brain. It's a brain worm. So it's a stupid little clip. It's like 10, 15 seconds long, but somebody looped it on a 10-hour loop.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy was trying to make some money and thought he'd be cool. I think he did a 24-hour live stream with only this song playing in the background on repeat for 24 fucking hours. You can see him literally going insane as he gets up and he's like, "Why? Oh, it was bad." I don't know how he did it.
How do I get to this? Let's see. I will probably have an ad here or something, knowing my luck. I can't hear it.
I only see Meme. There it is.
Hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend. I bet he does he kiss.
See, I was pretty close, wasn't I?
Yeah, you totally nailed it. Okay, I need this on a soundboard so I can get into my brain. Okay, is this the whole thing? Did I lose my sound? Let me hear it. Nope. Did I lose you or did I lose the whole internet? You're back. Okay. All right, we're gonna go back.
She's a millionaire now from that stupid clip.
Good for her.
But I told Meme I'd give him $100 if he watched that stream for the 10 hours straight.
100? He ain't doing that for $100. Okay, so
Fight milk, yes.
Fight
I
milk.
didn't watch it. As soon as the shirt came off, I turned off. So I don't know if anybody peeked or not.
Oh, is that the goal? Is that why they do? Oh no, did we lose you or did we lose you? We lost you.
When she robots out, can you still hear me?
Oh wait, I couldn't hear you, but you were
you're
still
awesome.
talking. Chat's gonna have to let us know who was actually gone.
I can hear you. You have a little like robot twang the second before you go out, so I pretty much know it's you.
Okay, let's just play this and see what happens.
No, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like you need like a good enemy. Like that was what made Trump so powerful in the previous elections. Is like the debates and the sound bites were so like strong. They were so like interesting and funny, and like we didn't see any.
Do you know the history of Fight Milk?
He's actually picking up a couple more.
No, I got a message one day from some thought and said, "Hey, Camelot is doing Fight Milk with some other thought." Hated it, thought it was lame, then decided it was their favorite thing and did it with them. So I never, I don't get it.
I'm trying to understand the point of it.
Is he going to get his milk?
Well,
I think he just needs to stretch.
For him,
you know, he can fire up.
It was a little weird. I've never seen someone just get up from a chair and put their hands behind their back.
As much as I want,
like he was going to get arrested.
Are they drunk or what? How long have these two been drinking?
I don't think they've been drinking too much. Oh no, Cool Frog's been drinking. I think he's been drinking because he's talking a lot.
No cheating. There's second shot. Okay, I'm trying to make this all on.
They pretty much begged Max to stop drinking.
This is like almost a full glass without the milk.
Because how long have they been going?
They're doing a 24-hour. I think they're on like 10 hours here.
Oh, this is 12 hours.
Like I dropped a full egg on my kitchen floor.
Oh wait, this whole thing is 12 hours.
That's
You're
like
right.
that's just the whiskey.
This is 5.5.
Okay, so why? I'm trying to understand the why.
Need a bigger
I'll
glass.
pour this into this glass. Okay.
That's gonna be too small too.
It's
so what is it? Beer?
Is
eggs?
that three eggs?
That's not even the
right about there.
Okay.
That's enough to put some milk in the top of that.
A 3-egg olet's a lot to eat.
Get a couple of
Yeah,
Let
it is.
alone drink. This is what I'm saying. Simulated cum. That you get that slimy feeling going down your throat.
Do what you're doing.
Oh, thank God.
Thank you, Cool Frog.
Some Basil Hayden's.
Oh, whew, I was close. I thought I was
Cool
really not
Frog's
to make fun of
still
Frog.
straight. He's still.
But
straight.
I saw him in the fucking preview here. He's gonna take his damn shirt off, ain't he?
He's gonna participate without drinking cum.
Oh, that's good. Thank God.
Before I actually crawl away here,
Is Shizzy?
probably about 15 because I'm gonna.
I don't know. I
careless.
turned it off.
I'll
I
get
turned it
that.
off.
Like
I know.
it.
There's no
Is
reason
that
for this.
okay?
I'll be doing 24 hours.
That's a big
myself.
boy.
I'd rather
Wait.
lick the
That's
toilet
a
seat.
big boy.
That's huge,
Wait,
dude.
Cool Frog is gonna do a
Now you
24-hour shoot.
gotta-
Why? Do you know why people do this?
For money.
Okay. So
There's no
like,
they're putting themselves through pain and suffering and humiliation and exhaustion in the hopes that people will donate money for their pity, like sympathy donates and fun donates, right? Like once they get into the 20-hour mark, that's when you get people to fucking do really crazy stuff because they're sleep deprived. So
who
then chat
chat's
takes
going right
advantage.
now?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think Let's
because
Go
they're
Brandon
live.
shows up, so you never know what he's going to do to them. He might have been the one that killed Max.
How fun. Okay. Gene is in the chat. Adrian, I haven't seen a lot of those people in a long time. All right, let's keep going.
You gotta, you know.
All right, it's the wee hours of the morning.
Shizzy, please don't do it.
Here's the tip.
I will
Right,
play.
you
No, I
ready?
think he's
You
just
ready?
having a shot.
Everyone happy? Fight milk time. Needs more semen. There's like a, I don't know.
Oh,
shot that's
needs
like-
more
it's like
semen.
floated to the top.
The eggs
it's
floated
not
to
just
the
me.
top.
It's weird.
Disgusting.
I assume it's right. I think it's literally 3 eggs. I showed that. All right, look, your legs. This is the
Why
trick. You
so
put your arms
big?
Up, okay? Put your
Yeah.
arms up.
Mine
and you
are
take
up.
This hand.
Are yours
you grab
up?
the bottom corner of your shirt.
Uh-huh.
And you can go through
No.
it didn't work.
Failed.
All right, ready?
He practiced that.
Oh,
Let's
hold
go.
on.
Let's go.
Hold on. You know when he walked away, he did some push-ups.
Yeah, to get his swell on. You can't blame a
Frog.
guy.
Why the fuck did Cool Frog take his shirt off so fast? No, why is he doing so excited for this?
Because Meme
Shizzy.
taught him the one-handed trick, and Meme failed it. So Cool Frog was trying to show.
Okay,
I
I
can do your
gotta
trick
go
better
back.
than you
Cool
can.
Frog's
So he did it
All right,
one-handed,
ready?
It's like,
Let's go.
but he did it left-handed.
Okay,
Oh.
good job, Frog.
Oh,
Man,
come on,
Cool Frog's done
Shizzy.
that.
Shizzy, no.
Can at least do that.
Oh,
All right, ready?
There you
Do you
go.
guys do anything, or is it just me?
I got a shot of whiskey. So
There's no music though.
See?
But here we go. All right, this one's for Brandon.
Only one
Oh,
sperm
3,
drinker.
2, 1, go.
Boots and cats and boots and cats.
Ooh,
Get those
well,
eggs.
here's the part where he gets to.
This is where the balls go down your throat.
Ugh. Why are they
It doesn't
no girls?
taste good.
Because fight milk scared them away. When I said
Right.
with fight milk and habits, Steph's like, I'm out. I'm
I
out.
wonder if he pukes.
Do people usually puke immediately
Yeah.
after? Or
I have
how
no
soon?
idea. I don't watch it.
Damn, no. gag.
No gag reflex.
Well, you should practice, right? Oh my goodness.
It is so freaking.
No, it's good. I like fight milk. All right, so that's the fight
It's
milk.
good.
Scared.
Okay, look, hold on. Let me Google this.
I got
There,
some.
Well,
let's
there you
Brandon.
go.
200.
That is why you would do your
That's why you do
24-hour
it.
stream. So that's
There's no amount of
like
money.
$300 I've seen here in this.
Yes,
amount
that's
of
why you
time.
do your 24-hour. Yes, it's a griftathon.
I'm gonna Google fight milk real quick. Is it for actual like people who are about to go work out? Is it like the poor man's protein?
I have no idea.
Fight milk.
I never heard of it until Camelot appeared. So
Fight milk is a fictional alcoholic dairy-based protein drink that was created in the comedy series Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It is supposed. Can you see this? Yeah. It is supposed to be a drink for bodyguards by bodyguards, but it causes vomiting and diarrhea.
oh, have fun, meme.
No, so all those bitches that he got to drink this really had the shits afterwards.
Right.
Oh, that's
They
wonderful.
think it's gonna bring the ladies, but it's actually gonna drive them away.
No, they're making them drink it too. Fight Milk is also the name of a rock band from London that took inspiration from the show. There is also a cocktail recipe that mimics the taste of Fight Milk using vanilla vodka, milk, cinnamon, and rice. Oh,
Ice.
that's hilarious. Oh, that says ice. Whatever.
rice. Could be Japan.
Okay, so
Yeah,
there
so it's not
they-
even a real thing. It's completely fake, and these guys just fell for this fucking dumb TV show's drink.
That's funny.
You know what mega fight
Oh.
milk is? You just put some vinegar in there. That's how you know you're a real man.
Gross. Exactly. How to make Fight Milk the cocktail. Well, cool. Good for them. That's retarded.
The guys I know used to do hard man shots.
Oh, somebody's
come
going
on.
to show up.
You got to do a hard man shot. I'm like, what is it? So you got to snort salt, squirt a lemon in your eye, and then take your shot. I'm like,
$10. Thank you.
no.
Snort shot. Squirt a lemon in your eye. That's the retarded.
Yeah, they just show how tough you are and then do your shot. I'm like, that shows how stupid you are.
Yeah, that is
You said that's what
stupid.
you're
That's
doing?
like the original TikTok challenge type shits before there
Yeah.
was TikTok.
Tide
Have your
Pod.
stomach with food before the flight. Ooh,
Yep.
That's $10.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he
$5.
ate before the fight milk
Well,
too, so he's got.
$15.
You think he's gonna keep it down?
Total. Doing well so far. So that's 25.
Yeah, I do.
grams.
He
Who the
drinks a
fuck
lot.
is
His body
he?
doesn't give a fuck.
That means $5.
How long are you going to keep your
What are you
shirts
talking
up?
So none of
Go,
these guys
go.
are gonna
What
fight, so they
happened?
should put the shirts back
Shot in
on.
the shot.
No.
I could've said 9.
Oh, Caitlin is there.
There we go. There we go. That's the
should've
crazy
come-
thing.
there you
we're
go.
like literally.
Ew, what is he doing with his dog? Put your shirt on.
13 NIV and also NEGOD, the National Institute of.
Oh
Dog
man,
Welfare.
meme is getting hammered.
Yeah.
Puppy. Look at that. The puppy has concern in its eyes.
He
It's like,
does. He
why is it
definitely
doing
looks
that?
concerned.
Where?
Where's your
Why are you
shirt,
looking-
Daddy?
He's looking. Yeah, exactly.
Where's
Where's
your
your
shirt?
shirt?
Why?
Why is that happening? All right. Oh dear. But tell me more about like.
How long
Your
do you
shirts
have to
on,
wait?
boys.
Why do they take their shirt off?
Really
Are they
do.
getting ready to fight, or are they
Who
trying to
votes
keep
to
the
let
shirt
shirts
clean?
come back
I
on?
don't see it.
No, because Camelot's got a great body, and he's like, I want a reason to show it. Like any good thought, he has found a grift to show us the goods. These guys need to not to. Meme is great with his shirt on. Cool Frog is great with his beard showing, and Shizzy doesn't need any of this. He's great just with the voice. Like this is a stupid thing that usually at least one of these humans on the panel. I'm not going to point him out. How do I zoom in?
Remember,
I can't zoom in on
they're
Cool Frog.
10
I'm not
or
going to point
12
him out, but
hours
one
in,
of these
and-
guys thinks this fight milk shit is retarded, and I wish he would have said more than he said. And I'm not going to tell you which one I think thinks that, but it's the one I'm circling.
It only takes one to change the whole crowd.
Yuck. No, so yeah, the shirt thing, I think probably because Camelot is like, I'm going to show the ladies the goods so I can get $2 at a time because bitches don't super chat. They
Remember
don't
how-
need to.
Remember how they've been drinking all day too? So they're like, fuck it. They're just whatever. They're just trying to get through the 24 hours now, so they'll do whatever the audience says. That's the other part of a 24-hour streams. Why they're dangerous to do. Because they're just
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever you want to do, and because you just robotically finish your last like 5-8 hours. You're like, I don't care. Yeah, I'll fucking lick a toilet. I don't care. Whatever. Just fucking, I want to go to sleep.
Yuck. I'm gonna try to get chat up here on my screen. Let me share something else. What is this? Thank you, King Jesus. Woman who scammed Holocaust survivor out of 2.8 million life savings gets prison for life. Whoa.
There we go. Ooh, it's like Leafy but female.
Is that true? Swindled an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor out of his 2.8 million life savings over the span of 4 years. On Thursday, judge in Manhattan sentenced the 36-year-old woman to roughly the same amount of time in prison. Whoa.
She had to be good to get money out of a Jew.
From 2017 through 2021, Sturgos strung the elderly man along and obtained loans from him on a nearly monthly basis. Over the course of her fraud, she received 62 checks totaling 2.8 million. She went to great lengths to manipulate him. To secure access to his bank account, she concocted phony emails, impersonated bank employees, and drafted bogus letters purportedly issued from the victim's bank. Wow.
Seems like a lot of work for a fucking sugar.
That's what they do. Have you seen Madcore's scam bait shows?
No.
It's not that much work. She got $2.8 million for it. How much do you think she charged for the hour? But they go through so much. They'll do so much to scam someone. He has to go through so much to scam them back. He has to he has to do all this basically. Make a fake account, make fake shit, go everything just so that they think that they're on the hook with somebody that they can steal from.
Do you think he's 87? Do you think he actually cares that she was scamming him?
Yes. He didn't give his money away to charity. He kept it probably for his family.
Who's the blonde that married the 99-year-old dinosaur?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Anna Nicole Smith?
Yeah.
Do you think he cared that she was using him for his money? No, he didn't give a fuck. He's like, I'm on my way out. I'm going to enjoy it. I don't give a fuck. I can't take this money with me. Who the fuck cares? Old people have a way of not giving a fuck about the little things anymore.
It's dementia. They still care. If they didn't have that, they'd care.
You think?
Yeah, dude, he would have given it away. He'd be I don't know.
What if he was 22 and a millionaire, but he had a terminal cancer with 5 years to live? Would it be okay then?
No.
Why? Because he's in the right mind.
Because she had to lie to acquire his money.
But he doesn't. He knows he's going to die in 5 years. He doesn't give a
fuck. Who fucking cares? He gets to decide who gets to waste his money. He can give it all to his dog if he wants. Nobody gets to make up fake shit and decide how your money is going to be spent. You could burn it in a pit for all anyone cares. She doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He doesn't. So he's burning it in her, letting her.
He
burn it.
gets to burn it. She doesn't get to. No. Nobody else gets to decide.
Burning it on her.
Oh, that's true. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Right, like.
But she had to lie. These aren't facts. If he was burning it on her, she would have said, "Can I just have some of your money? You're gonna die soon, and who cares, right, dude?" And he would have been like, "Yeah, dude. Here's a bunch of checks." Instead, she had to concoct a story. So he wasn't spending it on her. She was using feelings. He was spending it on.
Do you think he tried to do any background research?
No, he's 80 when they met. In cognitive decline. He couldn't. He's old. These people are good. She's 36. Of course he fucking cared. He just didn't know that the technology was what it could be. She sent him letters. They came in the mail. No.
Watering her seed in the hopes that she turns into a flower when he's gone.
No way.
That's what he's doing.
No way in hell. She's a liar.
And she's ugly as fuck, but I think that's what he's doing. She lied. He doesn't really care. You know,
he cares. Why would he not care? Why would he not care?
Because he's going to be dead in a matter of months.
No, he's lived for 4 years through this. That wasn't true when she started, and it's not even true now.
But he had comfort for those 4 years.
No, the fuck he didn't. He was worried in sending her money to help save her. He was probably stressed the fuck out because of what she did to him.
But he was talking to her all day instead of watching.
Not all day. That is an assumption. I doubt it. She probably never just spent all day making fake letters to try and then spending his money with some other fucking dude or chick or dog. She probably fucks dogs. Look at her. She definitely fucks dogs. She probably had to pay money to get dogs to fuck her.
He was so lonely. This was his fucking membership subscription. This was the fee for his fucking Netflix of a friendship.
Wrong. That was my Trump. You wrong.
What if he was 20?
She thought it was hilarious that she was destroying his life for her own benefit.
Quote, I'm not defending her. I'm just saying he might have not gave a fuck because he just wanted someone to talk to.
When Sturgill told Miller she was concerned that she hadn't received a wire transfer from the victim, Miller offered the driver to drive her to New York, presumably to convince her target to make additional payments. Sturgill, I don't know her name, had asked Miller to pray for the victim to transfer the money, and Miller's response when the deposit finally came through suggested that he did just that. "Thank you, King Jesus," he told Sturgill. She was playing him and his emotions and his religion against him. You would, God would want, got to give to people and shit like that. She's awful.
I can't see a Jew just giving his money away without asking like questions.
As a Holocaust survivor, I had endured unspeakable pain and loss in my life, but never did I imagine that I would be subject to such heartless betrayal in my old age. At the age of 6, I lost both my parents to the Holocaust, and it wasn't until 10 that I had the opportunity to sit at a school desk for the first time, the victim wrote. I grew up in a boarding school surrounded by the echoes of the horrors I had explained. Why don't you feel anything for this person? Why do you feel nothing for him?
No, the letter. They're not talking about what she did. They're trying to make you sympathetic.
No, but I'm trying to let you know that he didn't die right away, that she did lie to him, and he didn't want to give this bitch the money.
He didn't want to.
No, he wanted to help her through financial hardships that she didn't have. Those were fake. He wanted to help someone in hard times. She wasn't in hard times.
All right, so she
stole $3 million.
She was too embarrassed or humiliated to ask for help, so she concocted a way to get exactly the same thing with other means. So if she would have asked him, "Help me," he would have helped her, right?
No. Why are you assuming that?
To help her.
He wanted to help her in hard times. She didn't have financial hard times. He wanted to help
her in hard times.
Right. What were her hard times for real?
Right.
What were they?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe well you're fighting for this dog fucker, so tell me. What
she
were
had
her
mortgage
hard
payments and she
That's not a
money.
hard time. That's your mortgage payment.
Well, maybe it started out small and worked its way up.
I don't know why you want to fight for this cunt. Nope, she's awful. She's in jail. You could probably write her letters and marry her. She probably only fucks dogs, but you never know. You write her a letter and you get her on the hook. She's your bitch. She's your girl.
Taylor didn't take no money from nobody. Just keep her off the mess. We'd probably be all right.
Yeah, dude. I really think that if they would have focused on not that she was nuts because of bipolar, but she was just straight up nuts, and then the meth set her off to be insane, they would have won that. I think they could have got it.
I think she was insane for 10, 15 years before that.
Since she was 10?
Since she was a kid, think of all the
different... 25, so 10 years before that, she's 15.
Think of all the different psychotic drugs. They try this one for 6 months, try this one for 3 months, try this. So they were just using a cocktail slurry on her brain, just completely fucking her thinking, right? I don't know if you ever taken antidepressants or anything like that.
No.
But I took one called, what was it called? Seroquel. And it was insane. I was a little depressed after my dad died, but my girlfriend at the time found me in a spare bedroom that I never go in the house ever, crying in a corner, and I didn't know why. And the only thing I was on that for 2 weeks.
Out of your mind.
So we stopped doing that real quick.
Well,
so if that did that to me within 2 weeks, and they were just dosing her with fucking a cocktail of different things all the time, and then making her go through withdrawal all the time.
So do you think in that period that your girlfriend found you in the spare room, you were insane?
Yes. Because she got her phone out and recorded me because I wasn't making sense. And then once I finally came out of it or whatever, I was like, "What are you talking about? I was never in that bedroom." She's like, "Yes, you were." I'm like, "No, I wasn't." And she showed me the video, and I was like, "Fucking holy shit!" That day, we just flushed them all.
Yeah, how is that different than blacking out on alcohol? Do you think someone who blacks out on alcohol is insane?
At the time, yes.
No.
But they choose. Everyone knows the consequences of alcohol. You don't really understand the consequences of multiple different psychotic meds and tranquilizers and bipolar meds and all that mixed
That's
up.
true, but Taylor didn't want to take her meds, and she didn't take her meds.
I didn't know I would be in a room crying in a fetal position when she said, "These are going to make you happier." I didn't know, right? Had I known that was the possibility, I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah, that sounds like the opposite, doctor.
And look at her. I think her dad was selling her as a kid, apparently.
That was that was not. He was not charged with that.
No, but just admit she had the horrible life that she survived. So she was at her brain.
But
is not
just
a normal-
admit's not fair. If he wasn't charged with it, then I'm not going to give her that pass. He's in jail for molesting the stepdaughter. There's no charge about Taylor.
Yeah, so he wouldn't touch her. No,
Where's the charge? Why not bring the charge?
because they're in love.
Stop. They were not in love.
How
You
do
think she's
know?
in love with her dad?
She's insane. She doesn't know. That's
She's
what I'm
not
saying.
insane.
She's not saying.
Yeah, Anna, I
She's
object.
not-
Assumes
not
facts,
making
not in
sense.
evidence. She was not insane.
I bet you that this gets appealed and they find her not insane. When
Do
some,
you
like,
realize
real
that
doctors-
not Manson, what the fuck was her guy? Dahmer was not insane? Tried the same defense, killed the same 15 extra people in this same state, and they didn't give him insanity?
Yeah,
8
but
people?
Dahmer was a
Served
serial
people?
killer. She had a like psychotic episode breakdown and an induced drug thing.
She used meth and killed someone in her meth-induced psychosis. That doesn't make her an insane person. It makes her a meth user who didn't know when to stop.
But I
That's
think
you don't get a pass for that. You don't get a mentally insane pass for that. You get jail forever, regular ass jail.
if she was mentally retarded, would it matter?
Yes.
Can a mentally retarded person have the knowledge that taking meth is going to lead to murder?
She's not mentally retarded, so that
No, but
doesn't
if she
matter. But
was.
it would have mattered, obviously. Her
Okay.
mental
So I
mental
think
state matters.
She is mentally retarded from
Her
her
capacity.
entire
She's
childhood.
not. She's not. Unfortunately, the medical professionals didn't think that.
I think what medical? She never got real medical.
She
professionals.
got
Even
medical
the defense
professionals
was
her
fucking-
whole life. She
But,
was in and out
yeah,
of all those different
completely
facilities.
all different ones. So they were all throwing different drugs at her. Like, hey, let's play with this one. Oh, who's my?
Well, at 14, she tries to
all
kill
these
herself.
different doctors. Yeah, exactly, insane. All these different doctors.
No.
saying she's all these different things.
You think all these kids who try to kill themselves are insane?
No, I'm saying
No.
she is.
Well, no, she's not, Yana. She's actually not insane. She is the opposite of that. She's sane
I
and
think this
guilty.
gets appealed. I think this gets appealed.
Yeah, they set it up for appeal, but her lawyer kind of. We'll see what there is to appeal. If anything, it's the Dahmer stuff, but they never really even argued it, and they never brought it up after that, so it's kind of weak.
Well,
the
remember the
appeals court's not
Menendez
messing with
brothers? They said they
Yeah.
got abused their whole lives.
it. Yeah.
So there's some kids who got off with that defense too.
The Menendez brothers, did they say about the abuse while they were in court? Or is that a new thing?
I think that was their defense in court. They were still found guilty, but I'm pretty sure there's cases where people have used that dispute, like battered women syndrome. You get off on murder all the time.
Who does?
Women.
Nowhere.
Look up battered women syndrome and see how many cases have been won with that defense.
Battered women.
We actually learned about one case in high school. It was so famous in Nova Scotia that this father was so psychotic he beat the mom and the kids, like sadistic stuff, their whole life. And finally she snapped and shot him with a shotgun while he was passed out drunk one day. And the cops were like, yeah, he kind of she needed to do it for self-defense. And the state's like, well, he was asleep at the time. How is it self-defense when he's asleep? And then they said the crazy abuse she suffered for so many years was justification.
Battered women syndrome is a psychological and behavioral pattern displayed by women victims of domestic violence. It's a form of post-traumatic stress disorder that comes from the victim's violent experiences with their abuser, which the traumatic experiences reoccur in the victim's mind and leads to the feeling of learned helplessness. Women who are battered exhibit 4 characteristics. They believe the violence is their fault. They can't place the blame for the violence on anyone else. They fear for their lives and their children's lives, and they believe their abuser is anywhere and sees everywhere and sees everything they do. Battered woman syndrome is not a legal defense in and of itself, but many legally constitute self-defense when using a reasonable and proportionate degree of violence in response to the abuse might appear the most appropriate defense, but until recently, it's almost never succeeded.
Until recently.
Yeah, what happened all the time? Yes, 6 sources. Since 1970s, battered women syndrome has become a common legal defense in criminal cases where battered women severely injure or kill their abusive partners. Let's go here.
Almost never. Give me my nevers.
Let's see it.
Worked in Canada, but our laws are fucked up.
First of all, Taylor doesn't have this, for the record.
I think
We're
she
moving
does.
on to something else. Well, and
I
she
think
should have
she
presented
does.
it in court because too damn bad.
She had
At one
shit
point, they
with her.
tried to say that her husband hit her in the head sometimes, and that could have given her some kind of
Exactly.
fucking
Brain
They
damage.
argued brain damage. Shut the fuck up.
She was mentally
You're
retarded.
just setting up a case so that you can kill someone. I already know your tricks, Nova. This is written this year, so that's good.
She gets out
Tragically,
on the peel. I'll let her stay with me.
yeah, good. That's wonderful. She's gonna fucking eat you. Hope she starts with her eyes. Tragically, domestic violence is a daily occurrence in the United States. I'm just kidding, by the way. In most cases, domestic abuse occurs when male partners inflict violence against women. However, men can definitely be victims. Let's see. Battered women syndrome has become a common legal defense in criminal cases where battered women severely injure or kill their partners. Below, our Baton Rouge violent crime defense lawyer breaks down the details of battered women syndrome. What is it? Why they don't just leave stages of it, signs and symptoms, how battered women syndrome is used as a defense against criminal charges. Over the last several decades, battered women syndrome has been used as a legal defense in cases where the woman severely injures or kills her abusive partner for the sake of self-defense. Many battered women resort to injuring or killing their partners because they believe there's no other way out. The case of Francine Hughes, battered women syndrome, was first used as a legal defense in 1977 when Francine Hughes killed her abusive partner, Mickey Hughes, after suffering from 13 years of domestic violence. Hughes killed her husband by setting his bed on fire while he was
That's a rough
sleeping. Holy
That's a
shit.
rough one.
How'd she get him to stay in it? Not
I don't
only
know.
was
That would probably
Mickey
piss him
killed,
off.
but the house burned down as well. During the trial, Hughes was found not guilty due to temporary insanity.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Told you. I
Later,
told
the
it.
term battered women syndrome was coined. Legal experts determined that Hughes' case was first time it was used as defense. First of all, you have to kill the fucking guy who's battering you. I'm pretty sure poor Shad was like, I didn't do nothing wrong.
No, this sets the legal defense for a battered mind
You
syndrome.
to
so
kill
that
your
they can't-
abuser. It's when they kill their abuser, though, not just
Everyone was
randomly.
her abuser.
No.
Her whole life.
She
Everyone
rode this
abused
dude like a donkey and choked him out. She was abusing this child.
She did to him what everyone did to her, what she experienced.
It says battered women syndrome was used more commonly as a legal defense in the 1990s after several women in England murdered their abusive spouses. All of the women admitted that the murders were the result of long-term abuse, not one single provocative act. The definition of provocation became very important in cases where battered women syndrome was being used as a defense. The main definition that England used in the 1990s was this: provocation is some act or series of acts done or spoken or words spoken which would cause in any reasonable person and actually causes in the accused a sudden or temporary loss of self-control, rendering the accused so subject to passion as to make him or her for the moment not master of
Passion.
his or her mind.
Passion.
Provocation is also there. So they have it's an act or some spoken words that lead to the passion to not become the master of your mind.
And math.
The act is the long-term abuse. Yeah, well, I don't
Look up Life with Billy.
Life with Billy.
Yeah. That's the case that happened here in Nova Scotia. It was so crazy. And they forced us to learn about it in school.
What? Life.
And it's this exact defense. She got found, I'm pretty sure she was found not guilty. Or they found her guilty and then the judge was like, nah, fuck that shit. I can't remember how it went.
It's a show? Life with Billy
it was
is
a movie. But it's a true story.
Okay, let me go back.
Oh,
Life.
lost it.
Oh, hell. Life with Billy.
Can't see it.
Let me find it again.
There we go.
It's not a movie. It's a case.
Yeah, it's a case. It's
Life
a movie,
with Billy.
everything.
So
Yeah.
should I just click on this and try to find the case? Awards, nomination, external. There's
Sure.
nothing about a case.
Yeah, click it. It'll come up.
Movies,
Common
movies,
law.
movies. Life with Billy series, official website for Brian. Is it?
I can't see.
Oh, share this tab. Life with Billy's and Canadian television film based on the nonfiction book by the same name by Brian Valley. The film was nominated for 5 Gemini Awards and won 3. So
It should
where
say
do I
what's
get the case? How do I?
Scroll down. It should say somewhere in there who the real people were. References.
I'm back to Life with Billy. Awards nomination, read external links, IMDb, all movies, books profile, website of the author, and the series, the show. There's
Scroll
nothing.
down. Non-fiction books.
Where do
it
you
there?
see that?
Non-fiction.
Here in this? Films based on nonfiction books?
Yeah. See if
That's
it'll
just the
bring up-
category it's in.
Type in Life with Billy Nova Scotia case or something. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Why do I keep doing that? Life with Billy, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia case. Hey. Okay, here we go. Present, share, Life with Billy, share, add to screen. Whew. Here we go. Set in the province of Nova Scotia in the 70s. Am I showing this? Yeah. The film
there's the
explores the real life story of Jane Hirschman Corkum, a battered woman relentlessly abused by her common law husband, William Billy Stafford. Jane murdered Billy in 1982 by shooting him while he slept. Let's look this up. Jane Hirschman Corkum case. Oh, I'm not going to do summary.
Because the fact that he was sleeping and then now all these women are like, hey, I can get out of my abusive marriage now. I just got to catch him while he's sleeping. Because this woman proved I can do it. So then it just becomes a matter of
Okay, let's see. Did you know? Did you look at the facts in this case, or you just
No.
remember what the news told you?
just remember what we learned in school.
Oh, that's right. You said you had to learn about this in school. Okay, so
He would like shove pipes and stuff up her butt and make her as punishment just to make her keep it there.
So then, okay.
He would make the kids eat like their supper, and if they didn't eat it all, he'd force them to eat it until they puked. And if they puked, they'd have to eat the puke.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Or
Okay,
one
well
night-
then that's not like, and she didn't open the door that women can just kill their husbands in their sleep.
Yeah, that's what this whole case was.
Abusive
That's why
husbands.
was
It can
so
kill
big.
abusive husbands in their sleep. He's abusive. He deserves this. He deserved to be awake and see it coming, in my opinion, but whatever.
Right.
But this is not the same as any woman gets to
But
kill her
it's
husband. This
but
is
she
you.
wasn't- No, but she wasn't sane at the time because of the abuse she suffered over the course of her life.
Yeah, I believe it.
So that's what I'm saying about Taylor.
No, dude. No, Taylor has none of these facts and evidence. Taylor had none of that. She got
had a
sent to
shit lawyer.
Texas because
She had a
her
shit
mom died.
lawyer.
She was a shitty fucking teenager. And from the one woman that I knew her.
Well, didn't Shizzy have her friend on?
No,
and say that-
expert did.
Her expert have her friend on, and she said
Not
that,
her friend. That woman has kids that are Shabiznes's age and younger. Her son was best friends with Taylor's younger brother. So she knew about their lives. And she did say that she believes that the father sexually assaulted her. But the father isn't accused of that crime and he's not in jail for that crime. So while that's fucked and I don't disbelieve it, I'm not gonna,
maybe
like,
because
it's
if she
not something you
accused
get
him of that,
it's not the same as putting a fucking pipe in them and abusing your children.
No, wait. Maybe if she accused him of that, she knowed he'd be a death sentence in prison because they'd kill him. So she's like, I don't want to get my dad
already
killed.
in prison for that. The
But
other
she
daughter.
doesn't want to get her father killed for
He ain't
that.
getting killed. He's not a pedophile. He's
pedophile
just
person would,
a sex
though.
offender.
If she
No.
accused him of that, he would get killed.
No, you're making that up to make it sound better.
No, because that's how
Yep.
it goes.
Well,
pedophiles.
so like, okay, you did one kid, but if you did two, we'd really put a pipe in you. No, dude, it was either going to happen because the charges were the charges, and it's not like times 2 would have made it different.
No, what I'm saying is she's not willing to press charges of that because she doesn't want them to kill.
It never
her
happened.
father.
Because I'll go with it never happened for 1,000, Alex. She's no, I mean, come on. Her dad was already getting pressed charges for the same thing, so it's not like it would have mattered. He either did it and he's getting charged, or he didn't, and we don't get to give that to her as a pass because she didn't even live with him, but for a couple months or maybe a year.
She
when she
wasn't
got
saying
back
that whole
from her
time.
grandparents'
She wasn't
house.
saying the whole time she was with them.
Whatever. Those are facts, not in evidence. This is different. They're very different. Taylor, you're gonna marry this chick, so you're gonna. Yeah, I see. I get it.
I'm staying on her side so I don't get killed in my sleep.
Yeah. We could look at this. You know what's weird? Okay, so I fell asleep last night at who knows when. I woke up this morning, let the dogs out, and I go to check my phone, and I open it up to Safari on page 7 of some like amicus brief that Rekieta did in the Vic Mignogna case, if we're
Mignogna?
saying that right. Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't remember searching for this. I don't remember looking at
Yeah,
the
I
first 6
completely
pages of
took that
this.
case right out. I don't know why, but I had zero interest in that case, so I don't remember anything about it.
Dude, okay. Where's my phone?
I
Right
think
here.
Nick talked about it for like 6 months or something, so I've like stopped watching for that long a period because I was like, this is boring. I hate this. This guy
How-
looks creepy to me.
Let me see if I can pull it up. I can show you exactly what I was looking at. It is so
You know when you
weird.
see people and they have done nothing wrong and you have no reason to dislike them, but you're like, you give me creepy vibes.
Is that how you are with Vic?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a voice actor, so I don't know what that. I don't. So that's
means
my whole case.
That means you're not supposed to show your face. That's the whole point of being a voice actor. Don't show your face. Don't ruin the magic. Like when you see Elmo, you're like, ew.
Wait, the guy who talks about who's Elmo's voice, is he yucky?
He's a pedophile. He got arrested for being a pedophile.
The Elmo guy?
Yes, a big black guy, I think it
Oh
was.
no, Elmo's World. I didn't know that. Maybe
Shocking that a pedophile would take employment in a business surrounded by kids, eh? It's weird.
It's fucking gross. So I don't know that I can find exactly what I was looking at. Case text. This is not the same website. I was reading in the Court of Appeals second. What is this?
I can't see. Oh, there we go. Mignogna.
Is this the same thing? How many pages?
So what was the initial reason for the case? Was Vic suing somebody else, or did somebody else sue
I
Vic?
knew it. Okay, so in the one I was reading, it's Nick's letter to the court, and they talk about the Texas Citizen Participation Act, and the whole time I was like, damn, this sounds like anti-SLAPP. I can't understand what's happening here. Why don't they call it that? And now look, it is an anti-SLAPP statute intended to encourage and safeguard the rights of persons to speak freely. Okay, that makes sense. I wish I could just send this to myself. Maybe I will. Copy. I'm gonna just open Discord and take a moment to send this other link to myself. It'll be the one I was actually reading.
Yeah. So do you know what this case is about at all?
No, we're gonna read it together because on page.
If Nick's involved, this must be something to do with pedophilia, does it?
Dude, totally. The last thing. Hold on. Cancel.
Because Nick's involved. How did I know that?
Record reference issues present. This is talking about how the court. This is a letter to the appeals court, I think, and on page 9 there'll be a statement of facts. Discord just opened, so let me just take a second and do this.
Hang on, I'm just gonna answer my phone. Be right back.
Sure. Okay. Oh no, what have I done? Oh, I didn't send it, idiot. All right, 1 second. I'm sending myself a message.
Damn, my PayPal had a $5,000 withdrawal.
Just now?
From a robot voice. Yeah, let me give you my information as fast as I can.
Okay, now I got the link. Copy. I'm going to shut back down Discord.
So Nick defended a guy.
Well, no, Thai beer. We don't know the facts. Hold on, let's bring up the facts before we go that far. Paste. Share this and wait, what happened?
I've only heard people talk about this case, so I don't know anything about it.
I've messed up some.
But
Oh
I've
no.
heard people complaining about stuff though.
It's just making me download it. I guess that's fine.
Uh-oh.
Open file. Oh, share. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Dun dun dun. Okay, so this is where I woke up. It's the Court of Appeals in Texas. Vic Mignogna is the appellant versus Funimation, Jamie, Monica, and Ron, the appellees. Brief of Rekieta Media LLC is amicus curiae. I don't know what this means. In support of appellate. Let's find out what this means.
So it's I'm standing behind my man kind of letter.
Impartial advisor to a court of law. I don't know. Nicholas Rekieta. In Spoisa. I skipped all of this. Statement of interest, amicus curiae. If I'm saying that wrong, it's probably going to be super annoying. Sorry. Is Rekieta Media a Texas small business developing multimedia content for internet distribution as a business with its primary product delivered online? Amicus has both personal and professional interest in the application of the Texas Citizens Participation Act. Nick frequently publishes statements concerning the state of Texas, its citizens, and its businesses. Amicus is also concerned about how online statements might impact its own reputation and business operations within the state. Stated bluntly, if the anti-SLAPP precludes legislation as an avenue of recovery for a plaintiff when, if they have, as they have here, the pleadings and evidence clearly establish the facts of when, where, and what was said, the defamatory nature of the statements, and how they damage the plaintiffs, then defamations and related torts may be effectively nullified in the state of Texas. Further, the district court did not consider but did not strike the second amended petition. This failure raises serious questions about procedural defects with prejudicially impact appellant as well as future litigants who may be subject to the anti-SLAPP. Amicus holds the position that the district court's erred, stated in appellant's brief as well as above, led to an improper application of the anti-SLAPP, which chills potential litigants' rights to file meritorious lawsuits for demonstrable
I
injury.
disagree with the court.
It sounds like he wasn't
What a
paid
shock.
any fee to do this.
Nick disagrees with the court.
Introduction. Yeah. Page. This is where I fell asleep at the introduction, I guess. This is page 7. I woke up to this. The Texas Citizens Participation Act popularly and commonly serves as a bulwark against malicious and frivolous litigation designed to stifle free speech and public participation. However, nestled in the same purpose statement of Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, section 27.002, is an important and oft overlooked command to protect the rights of a person to file meritorious lawsuits for demonstrable injury. This case is meritorious. The appellant has demonstrable injury. In fact, the pleadings, motions, and submitted affidavits of all parties are replete with examples of injury and what caused it. The appellant established, quote, the facts of when, where, and what was said, the defamatory nature of the statements, and how they damaged the plaintiff, and quote, the district, which is probably one of the, what do you call it? When you have, I forget, one of the, like, bars that you have to meet to, you know what I'm saying? I forget what they're called. The elements. The district court's decision should be overturned and the case remanded for further proceedings. Importantly, there is a legal question surrounding the live pleading and accompanying evidence that must be resolved. According to the rules of civil procedure and the relevant case law, appellant's second amended petition, which was not struck, should be the live and operative pleading, but the trial court chose to not consider it. This is prejudicial to not only this appellant, but also any future plaintiff subject to TCPA motion to dismiss. So we're kind of backwards on this because we're all the way into the appeals, but it sounds like, never mind, I'm not going to tell you what it sounds like. Let's go to statement of facts. Maybe this will tell us what it is instead of what it sounds like. Appellant Victor Mignogna, as well as appellees Jamie, Monica, Jamie and Monica are voice actors who give English dubs to Japanese cartoons. Appellee Funimation's Productions LLC is an American distributor of Japanese cartoons and other merchandise who employ Vic, Jamie, and Monica. Appellee Ron Toy is allegedly engaged to Monica Real, but otherwise not apparently relevant to this English dubbing industry. To the English.
Why allegedly? Either they're engaged or they're not.
There were rumors. She started it. Starting in January of 2019, appellees Real, Toy, and Marshy began a began a smear campaign accusing appellant of various criminal acts, such as assault, harassment, and sexual assault. So, starting in January, Real, Toy, and Marshy began accusing Vic Mignogna, of criminal acts such as assault, harassment, and sexual assault, as well as other sexual and professional misconduct.
Complain to who?
He began a smear campaign. We'll see. In February, Appellee Funimations made a series of 3 tweets about their termination of Vic Mignogna following an investigation. The gist of these tweets was understood by readers of ordinary intelligence and Appellee Real as proof that appellant was terminated due to sexual misconduct and harassment. Appellant Toy leveraged his alleged relationship with Real to claim inside knowledge of the allegations and the investigation and tweeted hundreds of accusations of sexual misconduct and sexual crimes about appellant. On January 20th, appellant unequivocally stated any allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or most disturbingly, pedophilia are complete and utterly false. Wait a minute, isn't Rekieta writing this?
I think so. It reads like it's the way he speaks.
What page are we on? 9? Yeah, this is still the same thing. So Nick is writing this. Okay.
Yeah, it reads the way he talks.
Page 10. On January 20th, appellant unequivocally stated any allegations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, or most disturbingly, pedophilia are completely and utterly false. Kind of like...
So do we have these tweets or these statements that were claimed?
There are footnotes, possibly... I mean, we can probably find where this lawsuit starts if it matters. I'm just curious about this part so far. Pelly's Real and Toy would...
really said, or they're just making shit up?
What exactly was said? Yeah, because it was... it sounds like it was dismissed under anti-SLAPP, and then the appeal as well dismissed it, and that's why we're here going, this is not right, you need to send this back to appeal or something. Appellees Real and Toy would proceed to contact a convention and repeat the accusations to the convention owner, Chris.
So the victims, supposed victims, yes.
No, Real and Toy are the ones who are spreading the allegation.
Weren't they the ones that were sexually assaulted and stuff? Wasn't that the accusation at the beginning?
No, they began a smear campaign accusing Vic of sexual assault, harassment, and all this.
I took it as they were the ones accusing him of doing it to them.
Not to them. We don't know about what the sexual assault or any of that is yet. It's just maybe they heard something. It says
so they're just spreading rumors.
Yeah, that Toy leveraged his relationship with Real to claim inside knowledge of the allegations and the investigation, and tweeted hundreds of accusations of sexual misconduct and sexual crimes about Vic. So hopefully we can see those. And then on the 20th, Vic unequivocally stated that any of he denies it. And most disturbingly, the pedophilia accusation. It's just funny to have Nick write that. You're like, later you're going to actually disturbingly call someone
most disturbing, yeah. That's going to be bad.
Not only that, but you were introduced to the man you're going to call a pedophile when he was completely and utterly claiming that in a lawsuit that these were false statements. That's what's bizarre about the Rekieta thing. Okay. Appellees Real and Toy would proceed to contact a convention and repeat the accusations to the convention owner. Toy and Real threatened that if he did not cancel their Vic's appearance at the convention, that they would withhold a sponsorship, and that Real would breach her appearance contract and convince others to breach their contracts as well. Okay, so now they're messing with his income because of it.
Yeah.
Uh,
They feel strongly about their belief in the accusation that they don't want to be associated with it.
yeah, it says so. The convention owner did cancel Vic's appearance due to the actions of those other two. He did eventually reinvite Vic after considerable expense and under new contract terms that were unfavorable to him. The accusers would go on to cancel their appearances and have
So
other
the
people do
venue
it
made
too.
concessions to accommodate everybody, but he wasn't happy that with his accommodations.
Rial and the girl said, if you're having this probably accused pedo, then we're not going to show up, and we're going to have other people not show up either. So Vic is suing them, saying, look, I'm losing jobs because of these accusations, and they're not true. That's what's happening here. So these two are saying, even so far they're just accusations, right? We don't know anything.
Yes.
And he's saying, yeah. And they're the ones saying them. He's the one saying they're not true. And this is Vic losing at least one Comic.
Sure.
Is that how you spell Comic-Con?
I thought it was a C.
I'm out of here. I thought it was COMIC. This must be how they spell it in Japan. Anyways, he couldn't go to this. Through the course of the smear campaign by the appellees, appellant would have 12 convention appearance contract canceled. The existing record clearly establishes what was said, by whom, when, where, and when they said it, as well as the resulting damage. Procedural history. The procedural history in this case is voluminous, and this brief will focus only on the relevant aspects leading up to the anti-SLAPP hearing and through the final judgment. On July 1, 2019, Funimation would file its motion to dismiss under anti-SLAPP. Appellees would similarly file motion to dismiss. Appellant and appellees would file competing motions to strike, none of which would be ultimately granted by the court. Importantly, parties would enter into a Rule 11 agreement on August 6 regarding a continuance of the anti-SLAPP hearing and a timetable for motions and objections to the anti-SLAPP. This is Texas anti-SLAPP.
Okay.
For all parties involved prior to the hearing. Appellant agreed as follows. Plaintiff will file his response to the motions and any motions to strike on or before August 30th. Appellant. So Vic agreed, plaintiff, who he is, will file his response to the motions by August 30th. Okay. The other people agree that their replies and any evidentiary objection would be filed on September 3rd after they got theirs. And the hearing was moved to September 6th. Got it. Appellant Vic encountered technical difficulties and filed their response to the motions just after midnight on the 31st. What?
That's some susness right there. That's much susness. How do you do that?
Much susness. They would request leave of the court for the late filing, and the court determined the response was timely filed. Okay, so they got it. Appellant filed a second amended petition. Appellant filed his response, and then he filed a second amended petition on September 3rd. So way after
3 days before the trial.
When the other person were supposed to file their evidence in response.
So
The court heard arguments over the second amended petition on September 6th hearing as appellees moved to strike. The court did not rule on the motion to strike at the hearing, stating instead, I'll deal with that later. Oh, the judge.
Which means she's going to dismiss it.
The hearing proceeded on the First Amendment petition with the court stating they're not using that one. They're using the old one for this hearing. The hearing proceeded with the First Amended petition. So the first one that came through is the one that they're using.
Not the late term 3 days before the trial amended one. I'm not using that one.
They're not using that one. They're using the old one for this hearing. In the October 4, 2019 order granting appellees motion, the court stated that it did not consider evidence submitted after the agreed upon deadline in the Rule 11 agreement. The court still had not ruled on the motion to strike the second amended petition. Okay.
So it's saying, I'm not going to refuse any evidence you have, but I'm not accepting it all yet. I haven't decided on that.
Yeah, I'm not going to consider it. Appellant filed this notice of appeal on October 24th. Finally, on November 25th, the court issued its final judgment, closing with the statement, All other relief requested and not expressly granted herein is hereby denied. The judge finally disposed of all parties and all claims and is appealable. Despite multiple motions to strike and objections to evidence before the court never ruled to strike or sustained any objection to any evidence submitted by any party.
Exactly. She's not ruling on it. She's just not hearing it right now.
Summary of the argument. The court fails. Oh my God, we're only half through. The court's failure to consider the second amended petition without striking is a reversible error. The court's improper application of the Rule 11 agreement precluded evidence without striking said evidence and is reversible error. The court's refusal to consider clear and specific evidence and resolve factual matters in favor of the appellant is a reversible error. The second amended petition is the legally operative petition in this case. The court correctly states, if I don't strike, then we're going forward on the second amended petition, so don't we need to deal with that first? The court failed to strike the second amended petition, but proceeded with the TCPA hearing on the first amended petition in violation of Texas codes. In fact, the court expressly denied the relief sought by appellee's motion to strike the second amended petition on November 25th. Final judgment.
So the dirty trick that you tried to pull in the ninth inning, I'm not going to allow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has gone on long enough. Yeah.
Right.
The court improperly applied the August 6th Rule 11 agreement to preclude evidence and the second amended petition despite the plain language of the Rule 11 agreement. The Rule 11 agreement concerns specific legal documents, appellant's response to the motions, appellant and appellee's objections, motions to strike, and appellee's replies, and evidentiary objections in support of appellee's motions. The Rule 11 agreement does not contemplate amended pleadings or supplemental evidence, and the court is obligated to take definite legal meanings within Rule 11 agreements and construe them as a matter of law. Oh, is that what that says? The Rule 11 agreement does not contemplate amended pleadings or supplemental evidence, and the court is obligated to take definite legal meanings with Rule 11 agreements and construe them as a matter of law. Finally, the court refused to consider, without striking, voluminous evidence presented by both appellant and appellees establishing a prima facie case for each element of appellant's claim, or prima facie. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Arguments and authorities. Appellant's second amendment petition is highly legally operative document, and failure to consider the second amended petition is reversible error by the lower court. Texas Civil something provides that. Parties may amend their pleadings, response to pleadings, or file of other parties, file suggestions of death, and make representative parties and file such as other pleas as they may desire by filing such pleas with the clerk at such time as not to operate as a surprise to the opposite party.
3 days before the trial, you gave an amended fucking paper.
Well, the day that the other person is supposed to give you a response seems like a surprise. Like, how are they supposed to respond to your thing? It takes time.
That's the dirty trick the judge is not happy with.
Provided that
any tried to do this dirty trick, I'm not going to hear it.
Maybe, but she didn't strike it. I don't understand. I think they're probably right.
Just said, I'm not going to hear it. It's not.
But she kind of left it out there as if we might be getting back to this. That meaning that this the other these lawyers are operating on that.
Yeah, if the state opens the door to it being relevant, then yes.
No. It's a pleading. There's no opening the door to, okay, now we're going to look at the amended complaint. That's weird. No, it's all before that. Appellant filed on September 3rd. Appellant filed his petition on September 3rd. Appellees filed, among other things, a motion to strike appellant's second motion on September 3rd, same day. Quite simply, the trial court refused to strike the petition and further expressly denied the relief requested in the motion under effect of its final judgment issued on November 25th. It's especially denied the relief requested in the motion. Refused to strike. I wonder how this works, though. Like, that's why we need a judge for a friend.
I think it's just like whatever petition they had, and then somehow Nick's side didn't agree to it, so they tried to change the words just a little bit that really benefited them, and hope the state didn't realize it in the last minutes of the game.
Well, it's like,
And then the state read it like, whoa, 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 you're not slipping this one by us, bud. So they
Well,
replied to it the same day.
yeah, like you've already gone through court. You
It's
now
just
are at the
warfare.
appeals court. And at the appeals court, they're like, okay, fine. You can file your stuff on this date. Then they miss the date. And then they refile something on the other person's date. It's like, what were you doing? What was happening here that you just you didn't understand the case or what you needed to do, or like,
I think they call it a pickled mind syndrome.
but Nick is just like doing this amicus brief. It's Ty Beard's case, right?
Well, it's not a good look for either of them.
Didn't they raise like $100,000 for this?
$100,000?
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be way off. Never mind.
Did they do the whole case or just this appeal?
I think they were in the whole case. Ty, you mean, not Nick.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have no idea. Again, I wasn't there. We're probably going to get ate alive in the comments for this. Thankfully, we're only on Rumble. It won't be so bad. Yeah, so anyways, looks like it didn't go well for them because of anti-SLAPP. And they're like, no, you shouldn't have done that. And now Nick is over in his, you should probably apply anti-SLAPP. Wait, what?
And that's why Kurt's so fucking boggled with him. He's like, but you're supposed to be a person with honor and morals and a code, and you're going against those things. Like, that's why Kurt was so shocked.
Here's their Rule 11 agreement.
Yeah, it changes.
Rule 11 agreement and contracts relating to litigation, and the court construe them under the same rules as by contract. The instant Rule 11 agreement contains specific statements of agreement produced in the entirety here. Rule 11 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure. This will confirm our agreement regarding scheduling matters related to defendant's motion to dismiss under the Texas Citizens Protection Act. The parties agreed to the following. 1. Plaintiff will file his response to the motions and any objections, motions to strike before August 30th. Defendants will file their replies and
Not the
any
31st?
evidentiary objections. Oh, did I say? I meant to say plaintiff. Defendants will file their replies to any evidentiary objections in support of their motion and any objections, motions to strike on or before September 3rd. Hearing for defendants' motion to dismiss and any party objections, motions to strike, to the extent that court denies that it needs to hear arguments on any party's objection to or motions to strike, are set for September 6th. Plaintiff and Funimation agree that a 60-day hearing deadline for Funimations is extended to September 6th. So this is already something that's being extended that he's, I think, trying to extend further. Plaintiff agrees that the hearing on plaintiff's motion to strike that is currently set for August 8th has been moved to September 6th. Good thing.
They're trying to stretch it out so long that the other side gives up.
So the hearing on plaintiff's motion to strike that was currently set for the 8th moved to the 6th. And if it had been set for the 8th, you know how fucked they'd be, because he couldn't even manage this first deadline 22 days later.
Right. So
Whatever.
were they working on the case, or were they
The language
partying? Like, what
of
were
the
they doing?
Rule 11 agreement is clear and unambiguous. The Rule 11 agreement pertains to specific legal filings, with the response of the motions being pertinent to this analysis. Responses to the motions to dismiss are specific documents under the TCPA. In fact, a response to a TCPA is set aside from an amended pleading, and their differing treatment under the rules. The TCPA does not contain a deadline for filing a response to a motion to dismiss. In the absence of a rule, a trial court has discretion to determine the timeline of a response.
But
Okay.
they did a Rule 11.
Contrast this with Rule 63 governing amended pleadings, and we have different treatment for clearly different legal documents. What's happening right here? The court.
That Rule 11, that they agreed to Rule 11.
Yeah, but what about Rule 63?
If Rule 11 would have worked, they wouldn't have need to talk about 63.
The court does not give a Rule 11 agreement greater effect than the parties intended. All parties to this agreement are licensed veteran attorneys to the state of Texas. There's no reason to doubt the specifics and precise
What
meaning.
fucking rules you agreed to?
In fact, the nature of this agreement was specifically negotiated by the parties via email and eventually a phone conference with the court, with the trial court on August 1st. If a contract can be given a certain or definite legal meaning or interpretation, it is not ambiguous, and we construe it as a matter of law. The district court cannot ignore the definite legal meaning of responses to PCA motion to dismiss, TCPA motion. These responses are mentioned by statute and have specific rulings regarding the implementation that differ from amended pleadings.
But
The
you didn't
trial-
put the statute number?
The trial court's decision to expand the terms of the Rule 11 agreement gave it a greater effect than the parties intended, and the definite legal meanings were not construed as a matter of law. This is an abuse of discretion by the trial courts. For the reason stated above, the second amended petition is the live pleadings for the first. We should see what they said when they
You can't agree to
Shut
have
this
the
down.
rules are of the game, and then when you lose the game, complain that the rules were wrong.
The
You agreed
court
to the rules ahead of time.
failed to properly construe the Rule 11 agreement in a manner that was prejudicial to the appellant and is cited as the sole reason the court chose to disregard but not strike the amended petition and the unsworn declarations. In a manner that was prejudicial to the appellant and is cited as the sole reason, failed to properly construe. The court chose to disregard but not strike the petition and the unsworn declarations. Disregarding the evidence of the appellant, evidence which is admitted in the record is known by the appellees and which shows a meritorious case for the appellant, is an abuse of discretion by the trial courts. Okay.
So if the judge would have been more of a dick and just
Yep.
struck it from the record and said, no, this is the one you filed, this is one you get to keep, you don't get fucking plan B, I strike plan B. Then that's all they're mad about. So the judge just didn't. So if the judge would have just said, okay, it's stricken, they have no defense then. That's what they're complaining about.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if we can find what
Because they're just saying you didn't stricken it. You should have stricken it. Why didn't you stricken it? By law, you should have stricken it. The judge is like, no, it was so irrelevant, it didn't matter.
what is this? In the Court of Appeals.
Milking money out of Ty, like Randazza milking money out of Nick? Because if that's their appeal, that's weak.
This is only 2 pages. What does it say?
They got rejected quickly.
I write separately only to. Oh, this is something else. Ah, shit. Why do I keep doing that? Okay, let me try again. I'll share this with you. Okay. Share screen.
So how much did Vic Vic have to pay out for this defense?
And that's a good
Tired?
question.
Tired? Because if Randazza's going 300 grand already, this seems, and they're not even near into appeals. So this went all the way to appeals.
On appeal. Introduction. This might have been, oh, my Atlanta, 70 pages. Oh, shit.
What are the cliff notes?
I know.
The conclusion.
Okay, should we just try?
Accusation. Is there a table of contents?
No, not on this one. Let's see. Introduction. The TCPA, the Texas Citizens Participation Act, is an anti-SLAPP statute intended to encourage and safeguard the constitutional rights of persons to petition, speak freely, associate freely, and otherwise participate in government to the maximum extent permitted by law, and at the same time protect the rights of a person to file meritorious lawsuits for demonstrable injury. The TCPA was intended to provide protections for the involvement of citizens in the exchange of ideas. To that end, the TCPA provides a procedural mechanism for dismissal of lawsuits that could unjustifiably interfere with these rights. Under the TCPA, the first step in the statutory burden shifting analysis is for a defendant to show by preponderance of the evidence that the plaintiff's claim is based on, relates to, or is in response to the movement's exercise of the rights of free speech, association, or petition. If the defendant satisfies its burden, then to avoid dismissal, the plaintiff must establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each essential element of the claim in question. Okay.
So that's what Monty did with his video links.
If the non-movement satisfies its clear and specific prima facie burden, or if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry.
Prima facie.
Prima facie, the movement may still have the claims dismissed by establishing each element of a valid defense to the case. Okay. Appellant Victor Mignogna sued appellees Monica, Ron, and Jamie and Fundations for defamation, conspiracy, tortious interference, and existing contracts, tortious interference with prospective business relations, and as to Fundamation, vicarious liability for Real, Toy, and Marshy's actions based on their postings on Twitter. Appellees moved to dismiss Mignogna's claim under the anti-SLAPP, and the trial court granted their motions. At a subsequent hearing, the trial court ordered Mignogna to pay litigation expenses and attorney's fees and imposed sanctions. Ooh.
Ooh.
Man.
So not only did it cost Mignogna fees, it cost him double fees.
Yeah. The Texas whatever requires that if the trial court orders dismissal under the TCPA, it shall award to the movement court costs, attorney's fees, and other expenses incurred in defending against the legal action, and sanctions against the party who brought the legal action as the court determines sufficient to deter the party who brought the legal action from bringing similar action. Damn, Texas. All laws should be fucking written that way.
And that's Fundamation as a company. Think how many lawyers they had.
Yeah. In
And
8
then
points.
Ron and those other people had probably their each individual lawyers.
Mm-hmm. In 8 points, Mignogna appeals, complaining that the trial court erred by finding the appellee's evidence was legally and factually sufficient to satisfy their TCPA motions. I'm dissatisfied their TCPA first step burden based on their evidence's lack of admissibility by dismissing his claims, by refusing to consider his second amended petition, and by ordering him to pay sanctions and attorney fees. On the record before us, appellees met their initial TCPA burden in part because Mignogna failed to preserve his complaints about their evidence, which the trial court considered along with Mignogna's allegations in his first amended petition. And because Mignogna withdrew the principal evidence supporting his prima facie burden before the hearings of appellee's TCPA motions, he was unable to meet his burden on any appellee's claims. Accordingly, the trial court did not err by granting appellee's TCPA motions, by imposing sanctions on Mignogna, or by awarding attorney's fees to appellees, and we affirm this portion of the trial court's judgment. On cross-appeal, Real and Toy complained that the trial court should have awarded to them the full amount of attorney's fees they requested. Because we hold that the trial court's order on attorney's fees is against the great weight and preponderance of the evidence, we reverse this petition of the trial court's judgment and remand the case to trial court on that issue. Oh, damn. They didn't give them enough of their attorney's fees. Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker.
Factual background. For more than a decade, Mignogna, Real, and Marshy worked as anime voice actors for Funimation and appeared together at fan conventions. During that time, various rumors about Mignogna's behavior had circulated to the point that he held a rumor panel at the 2010 fan convention to try to dispel them. More rumors surfaced in January 16, 2019, the same day that Funimation's major anime film starring Mignogna's voice in the lead debuted. That day, someone with a Twitter handle at Han Leia tweeted, Hey, Funimation, why do you employ a known pedophile with a link to allegations of sexual misconduct by Mignogna at anime conventions? Another person with the Twitter handle actually Amelia tweeted, how is Vic Mignogna still working in anime? Every time assault in fandom comes up in a conversation, no matter who I talk to, so does his name every time. At some point, an open secret becomes common knowledge and inaction becomes inexcusable. Mignogna did not sue Hanlia or actually Amelia or any of the online magazines covering the allegations, Polygon, Anime News Network, or Gizmodo, for defamation. Instead, after meeting online with his fan club and encouraging them to speak of their positive experiences with him, Mignogna posted a tweet on January 20th issuing what he characterized as a generic apology for unintentionally offending anyone. That's not good. Yeah.
Admitting guilt.
Yeah. Wait, offending anyone. Funimation and its parent company began an investigation and terminated Mignogna's contract on January 29th. Yeah, as soon as he said sorry.
'Cause it
Funimation
looks guilty.
commented about Mignogna's termination on February 11th. During the Mignogna-related social media maelstrom between January and February of 2019, Rial, Marshy, and Rial's fiancé, alleged, Toy, published some tweets, as did Mignogna, whose fans paid a GoFundMe account, Vic's Kickbacks, set up by Nick Rekieta on February 19th to cover Mignogna's litigation expenses. Mignogna sued Funimation, Royale, Toy, and Marshy on April 2019. Let's go look at this. GoFundMe.
So I wonder who brought the case to who. Did Ty bring it to Nick's attention first, or did Nick bring it to Ty's attention first?
How the hell do you spell Vic Mignogna?
Mignogna, just try Mignogna right there. Did Mignogna.
Can you spell it for me? Because I can't see it.
Mignogna.
Thank you. Is this it? GoFundMe, yeah, there it is. Don't just do whatever you want. Look at that. $291,000. Holy shit.
From only 9,000 people. Divide 2,000 by 9,000. See what that averages is.
That's a lot. Okay, let's see. Get my accountant helper here. 291,737 divided by 9,000.
So none of that money goes to Vic.
That's only $32 a person. That's pretty fucking dope. Is that right? Yeah.
I guess. Seems about right. 9,000.
Vic Mignogna spent 2 decades building a career as a voice actor. He worked with great people, made great friends, and represented great companies. Over the past month, all of that work and goodwill is maliciously and brutally destroyed by a dedicated group hell-bent on dragging his name and reputation into oblivion. This capped off with hurtful allegations from people Vic had worked with and considered friends for many years. Now Vic has been removed from Rooster Teeth and Funimation and disinvited from several conventions, disconnecting him from his income and his fans and supporters.
So why didn't he sue the original people who called him a pedophile? Instead, he's suing the people who read about him being called a pedophile.
They started, in his mind, they started the hate campaign, I think, right?
But the other people said it first, so wouldn't you sue the source?
He needed to prove damages, and these are the people who damaged him, right? He lost convention because they are the ones that went to the convention and said, we're not going to go. Vic, I've never met you, but I believe you. Aww. Although justice ultimately wasn't served. This is 10 months ago. When did the suit end? People are still donating to this? It should be illegal. Although justice ultimately wasn't served, the fight still brought truth to light. Oh, that's nice. Still standing with Vic. That's kind of nice.
But what if he was guilty?
I
don't usually apologize for things I haven't done.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of like the Clinton body count, like there are rumors that stick with you for a reason, usually.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's why I'm wondering why he didn't sue the original people, because then what if they had proof that something did happen, and that would be their defense because they had some proof of something.
We still need to get up to 300K. Let's go. Okay. Anyways, that's their
200K.
GoFundMe.
So does
I don't know.
Nick get that money before it reaches the 300K or no? Only if it gets 300K. I think we asked that.
That's a good question. I think.
Like if the goal isn't met, does everyone just get refunded?
Wait a minute. Do you have to meet your goal? Is that why they just leave it up and hopefully it meets it?
I don't know. That's why I'm curious. I don't know how the rules work.
I don't either. That's a good question. I wonder if
Then why
anyone
have a
knows
goal?
that.
You just say, give us money.
How does
I'm
it? Let's see. Let's go to. Well, FundMe just
Either
takes a few
way,
minutes.
Vic got fucked over by rumors, and then Vic got fucked over by a poor defense from Nick and Ty. And then got triple fucked over because he had to pay the other lawyers back on top of it. So he had to pay 4 sets of lawyers.
Okay.
Withdraw funds. See what withdraw funds do you get?
It's not clickable. It just says accept, thank, withdraw. But that's step 3 after.
Give
There's
us
no
all your
video.
information first, then we'll tell you how this works.
Oh, well. Back to this.
So that's not
edit.
looking good. So
Okay.
Nick has a history and be involved in legal cases where accusations of pedophile has been thrown around.
Yeah.
So he has this one. He has the one that he reviewed of was Monty and someone else,
Mm-hmm.
and then he now has his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, weird. We begin with I almost said Montagraph. We believe with Mignogna's procedural complaints because they are dispositive of his appeal. I don't know. We review most procedural complaints for an abuse of discretion.
This sucks.
A trial court abuses its discretion if it acts without reference to any guiding rules or principles. That is, if its act is arbitrary or unreasonable. A court's failure to analyze or apply the law correctly is an abuse of discretion.
You didn't strike this.
The abuse of discretion standard governs amended petitions, see this case, and evidentiary rules. In contrast, a trial court generally has a
Ministerial.
ministerial duty, thank you, to enforce a Rule 11 agreement once it exercises its discretion to determine the agreement's validity. Seems to validity, see
You didn't get
this.
it on time, so the judge doesn't want to hear it. And all this stuff is moot because you missed the fucking deadline that you agreed to with Rule 11.
Where there's a Rule 11 agreement that is not subject to any exception, such as fraud or mistake, the trial court has a ministerial duty to enforce its terms. Well, there you go. Mignogna's late filed second amended petition. In his 6th point, Mignogna argues that the trial court erred by not considering his second amended petition and its attachments in deciding whether he had met his burden to defeat their motions. Funimation filed its motion on July 1st. Real Toy and Marshy filed their motions on July 19. The motions were originally set for a hearing on August 8th, but parties agreed to move the hearing to September 6th to allow Mignogna more time to respond. Dude, what were they doing? Just out raising money? Because August 8th is when they should have brought this. Not only a 22 days and 1 day past the deadline do they bring it, they have to wait another 2 weeks, to get their amended complaint in because they're not ready times 3. The fucking appeals court's like, get your shit together. You waste $300,000, hire another lawyer, bruh. On August 6th, the parties signed a Rule 11 agreement.
This looks really bad.
This looks awful. On August 6th, the parents, but we're also idiots. Keep that in mind. We need a ticker across the bottom. We bunch of dipshits. ID 10T rules the one we follow. On August 6th, the parties signed a Rule 11 agreement wherein they agreed that Mignogna would file his response to the motions by August 30th. According to the subsequently filed plaintiff's motion for leave to file late response to the defendant's TCPA motions to dismiss due to technical issues, Mignogna's counsel unsuccessfully attempted to file Mignogna's response just after midnight on
They
Saturday,
don't say
August
what the technical
31st.
issues are either. They just say technical issues. Like, just believe us.
Just after
They don't
midnight
say we had
on
a power
August
outage and can prove that
31st.
the power was out at his office for this amount of time. He
So
doesn't
is
say
this
that.
just minutes late or a day late? Because if it's midnight, that means it's minutes after midnight, meaning it just turned August 31st, right?
Minutes? Yes.
That's how close to the wire they were.
Right.
Oh,
Instead of
that's
the day
silly.
before or before supper time, the end of working hours, they're like, no, it's just, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot to file those papers that I had a month to file. My bad. Let me file it.
They're
late.
in appeal too. It's like they've already gone through a fucking lawsuit. Don't you remember any of the filings? Don't you know what the facts are? Don't you have any of the shit just, right there in the file? We're not lawyers,
There's
so
a story. Nick tells the story about how it was the reason it was filed late because they hooked up to the internet and this file took so much longer to upload than they thought they had time for. Or
how many hours?
Some bullshit like that.
I-
No, I can't.
That's why you don't
remember
wait
how-
till the deadline. He successfully served the Marshy's counsel, however, who asked him to provide a certified copy of all notary book pages for the notarization performed by him on August 30th, the date that the affidavits of Mignogna, Chuck, and Christopher, which were attached to Mignogna's response, were signed according to Mignogna's counsel notary stamp. At 9:04 a.m. on September 2nd, Royale and Toy's counsel asked Mignogna's counsel for an explanation of how Mignogna, Huber, and Slatosh could have signed their affidavits in his presence when none of them were in Tyler with him on August 30th. Uh-oh.
That's not good. It's not good at all. That's defrauding the court, is it not?
I don't know. Hopefully they talk to us about it. Mignogna's
Is
counsel
that like a bar violation?
Mignogna's counsel successfully filed the response at midnight on September 3rd, the day after Labor Day, along with a motion for leave to file the late response due to tech issues. In addition to the 3 affidavits described above, Mignogna's counsel attached to the CPA motion the depositions of Mignogna, Real, and Toy, along with 342 tweets that were attached to exhibits to Toy's deposition. The unsworn declaration of E.M., a convention representative who wrote the declaration in response to statements about her by the CEO in a Kauai convention, whose affidavit was attached to Real and Toy's motion, and an affidavit by Stan Dahlen regarding his recollection, none, of an incident involving Mignogna that Real had described as having occurred at the November 2007 something con, a total of 8 exhibits. When Mignogna's counsel filed the TCPA response at midnight on September 3rd, he simultaneously... Is that just when he files shit?
Like, there's no reason to do that.
Like, before, they're like, oh, we couldn't get the internet to work. The dock was huge, so we did it at midnight. Whatever. Maybe that's just them being dicks.
Like, if you had technical issues, shouldn't you put the technical issues that you had? So
This is a different one, though. Like, the other one that he had tech issues, he filed that on August 31st.
I would attach like a weather statement where there was like thunder and lightning right over my building or something. Like, there need to be.
I would take a picture of my dog with a bunch of papers in his mouth and be like, this son of a bitch.
Yeah, right. Dog's my homework.
He simultaneously filed a second amended petition containing 20 new paragraphs of factual allegations. To the second amended petition, his attached 17 exhibits, which he described as prima facie evidence sufficient to prove each element of each claim, and referenced the exhibits in 18 of the petition's paragraphs. 9 of the 17 exhibits contain evidence that was not attached to TCPA response. The remaining 8 exhibits consisted of 3 unsworn declarations from them, the same contents as their affidavits, the 3 depositions, EM's unsworn declaration, and that affidavit. 45 minutes after filing the response and second amended petition, Mignogna's counsel replied to opposing counselor's September 2nd affidavit inquiry, stating he would withdraw the 3 affidavits that they had been mistakenly submitted with defects in form. He filed a notice of withdrawal of the affidavits around half an hour later.
Because they weren't sworn?
At the TCPA hearing on September 6th, Mignogna's counsel stated that he had filed the second amended petition for opposing counsel after opposing counsel notified him of the defective affidavits.
Sorry you caught us sending in stuff that we swore to that we couldn't really swear to because the people were in the same place.
Okay, so he files the response.
Like when you say, I'm the witness that watches you sign this piece of paper, and those people aren't there.
45 minutes after filing the response and the second amended petition, Mignogna's lawyer replied to the September 2nd affidavit inquiry stating he would withdraw the three affidavits that they had been mistakenly submitted. He filed a notice of withdrawal of the affidavits around half an hour later. At the hearing, Mignogna's counsel stated he had filed the petition after opposing counsel noted him of the defect. It sounds... Oh, but it wasn't.
Because I told
it
you
was
10
45 minutes. He filed it, and then 45 minutes found out that it was going to be the other way.
Because the other
What did he
counsel wrote him and goes, "What's this bullshit? This isn't sworn." Lying
Yeah.
motherfucker. And then he goes, "Oh yeah, that was a mistake. Whoops, let me retract that as quick as I can."
I
'Cause you
wonder if
caught me
that's
lying.
true. I have to take a 30-second break. Oh no, what have I done? Did I go too far? Oh no. So I don't know if you can read this from your screen, but I'm going to mute and I will be right back.
I put a clip in private. Throw it up. Me and Chad will watch
Perfect.
that while you're
Perfect. Copy link.
All right, chat. If you're squeamish, buckle up.
Is it spiders?
No, it's a
Okay.
girl, a little girl.
Body language expert breaks down the UFO guy, the UFO whistleblower. That's cool. Share this
That's not
tab.
the one I gave you, is it?
No, it's not. It was just it's every time I go to the damn internet to search for something, they catch me with their fucking news headlines every single time.
This surgery has allowed me to do so much more than I expected.
She is a ballerina.
I would
She
never.
has her knee. Yeah, that's her real foot. That's her real life foot. That's her. It's crazy.
14-year-old Gabby Shull looks like any other dancer in her
That moves
class.
Provigil and whiskey.
But at the age of 9, she had her right leg amputated at the knee after being diagnosed with bone cancer.
Whenever I knew I was going to get my leg amputated, well, the first goal was to get walking and just get out of the hospital bed. But
So
what
her
motivated
foot's
me
her
to
knee.
walk was dancing again.
Thanks to
That's why it
rotation
looks
plastic
down.
surgery, Gabby has been able to get back on her feet.
So the surgery, rotation plasty, what they did is they removed my cancer, which was in my lower femur / knee. And they removed my whole knee and took my lower tibia and rotated it 180 degrees backwards and reattached it to my upper thigh area. And now my ankle acts as a knee joint. It lets me do things that
So now she can
I
swing
might
that
not have
baby.
been able to do with other surgeries like dancing or cheering.
To think
or
how her
climbing, ice
brain had to
skating.
readjust to
I
be
knew
able
Gabby
to bend
before
her
she had
foot
cancer, and watching her
her
go through this journey
right
to
foot
become the amazing dancer
backwards
she is, has been
for
really
her knee. Like, so trippy. Now, could you date it?
Gabby first realised there was a problem
Not as
after
a
a
kid,
skating
mind you,
accident.
but somebody with their
I
foot that's
went
sewn on
ice
backwards.
skating with one of my friends, and I fell and hurt my knee and had an MRI, and that's when they found the cancer.
We went to the doctor, and he told us the news.
Pretty weird, eh? That you just
He said,
accidentally
your daughter
cancer.
has what we think could be cancer, a type of cancer called osteosarcoma. We
Or
were shocked.
the hospital
He had to
just wanted
repeat what he said
experiment
because
on
I
this little
didn't
girl
believe
that
him. I
told
didn't
us
think
what
my
this
ears
would be
heard
the
him
first
correctly.
hospital
She
to
asked,
do this
why
surgery.
does this happen to me? And we said,
They're
sometimes
evil
bad
people
things
over
happen to
there.
good people. We don't know why, but we just have to do our
Oh,
best
we
to
know
get
why,
through
because they're
it.
evil.
And that's what we did.
The recovery process was difficult, but a year after surgery, Gabby was able to take her first
See,
steps.
this doctor's probably
It
the one
took
who's
several
jumping
PT
us off.
sessions, just getting the motion back in my ankle and taking my first steps without any assistance, no walker or crutches. And then a year after that, I was dancing again on stage.
What is going
Now
on?
she is dancing competitively again.
Gabby never really sees anything as an obstacle.
They
She
took her foot off and
doesn't
attached
turn
it to
down
her
a
knee.
They took her foot off and attached it what?
To her knee backwards.
On accident?
No, because supposedly the hospital told this little girl that she fell down and broke her knee skating. So the hospital told her, oh, by the way, we found cancer in her leg. So we're going to cut her leg off, turn her foot around backwards, and sew it back on.
Why did the foot have to be backwards for it?
Because that's how the knee joint bends.
Oh.
So her ankle, her foot, became the knee joint in the prosthetic part. And she can wiggle all the toes and everything backwards.
That's kind of cool.
But I'm asking, did she really have cancer, or did this hospital just want
Jesus Christ.
surgery for the fame?
Well, how long ago was this? 7 years?
That's
Have
how
they
you
done
get
more?
your most donations and your research grants and all that stuff. You pull off one of these surgeries. That's why the trans penis fucking switching. That's why they get it all. We're the first ones to do it in your area, so they just rush to get the first kids.
Damn.
I mean, it worked out for her. I'm not saying that, but maybe she didn't really have cancer too. Because it's a weird place to say you have cancer in your femur, in your knee, and
Well,
then you just cut.
anywhere, right?
But just cut your knee off and you're okay. So
Well,
why
yeah,
wouldn't
you
they
cut
just
out the
cut
tumor.
cancer at everybody?
They do,
No, most people say, "Oh, if we cut it out, it'll regrow." So we can't even do that.
depending on the cancer, right? There's malignant and the other thing. I don't know the words.
I have my doubts. I think this hospital should be.
You doubt everything. How are you a lefty for so long? You hate science.
I don't hate science.
I'm
I
just
hate
kidding.
Evil. I hate evil.
Well,
You have to
he-
acknowledge there's evil out there to be able to recognize.
There
it.
is. That's true. There's definitely evil out there, but that seems like a happy story. She found cancer. She got it cut out. She got her foot reattached. It works out the way it needs to work out based on fundamentals.
If
and
she
that's
had
the thing.
cancer, yes. Look what they did with the fucking COVID experiments.
That's true.
They were giving people all kinds of craziness.
That's true. Okay, we're gonna get back to reading some Vic Mignogna.
Yes, that was a commercial. Nova commercial.
I did a live one time and I used a Grimm's Bar used to do some pretty dope edits, and he did one on DERP, the dead egg replacement procedure.
Yes.
Did you see it? Yeah, I used it as a commercial. I'm non-sponsored, but here's my commercial break. I played that. As funny. He's so talented. Okay, back to Mignogna. Lizonia. Appellees objected to Mignogna's late filing of his TCPA response, to the filing of his second amended petition, and to the attempted late submission of evidence, citing surprise and their mutually agreed August 30 deadline. Funimation also argued that under Rules of Civil Procedure 59, Mignogna could not attempt to meet his evidentiary burden by attaching evidence to his second amended petition, allowing parties to make only certain items, notes, accounts, bonds, mortgage records, and all other written instruments construed in whole or in part a claim of defense part of the pleading by attaching them to petition or answer. Oh, so he's telling us why legally they can't do that.
Agreed to a set time.
Reviewing non-movement's pleading exhibits. Okay, whatever. In ruling on the motions, the trial court granted Mignogna's motion to late file the responses and deemed it timely filing, but stated that because Mignogna had withdrawn the 3 affidavits, it did not consider them or any evidence attached to the second amended petition. Mignogna's remaining TCPA evidence consisted of the depositions, EM's declaration, and Dahlin's affidavit.
The judge said, if I had accepted this, I would have had to accept those false affidavits that you submitted to the court fraudulently. So you're lucky I didn't accept it. And that's why I didn't rule on it. Because if I would have accepted it, I would have to rule that you submitted false fucking documents to the court.
Possibly, yeah, because of the notary thing. Yeah, that might be what's happening. The record reflects that Mignogna essentially tried to use an amended pleading as a late TCPA response to remedy his lack of evidence and thereby avoid the parties' Rule 11 agreement deadline. The trial court has a what is that one again? Ministerial duty to enforce a valid Rule 11 agreement. And Mignogna did not argue in the trial court or in this appeal that the parties' Rule 11 agreement setting a deadline for the TCPA response and therefore evidence was invalid. Accordingly, we hold that the trial court did not abuse its discretion by refusing to consider Mignogna's second amended petition and attachments filed in violation of the Rule 11 agreement.
If you make a late mortgage payment, you don't get to appeal the late fee.
That's true. Because the court did not abuse its discretion by excluding Mignogna's second amended petition as being in violation of the parties' Rule 11 agreement, we need not address Mignogna's Rule 59 violation. We overrule Mignogna's 6 point. Oh, ow. Because the trial court did not abuse its discretion by excluding Mignogna. Okay, so because they didn't do anything wrong by excluding that, we don't even have, like you were saying, you're just moving the goalpost here, buddy.
Exactly.
In the 7th point, Mignogna enrobes his TCPA sufficiency complaint about appellee's motion with his agreement that the trial court should have struck Funimation's and Realentoy's evidence. However, he ignores that in their TCPA motion, Marshy incorporated and adopted by reference all the evidence attached by Funimation and by Realentoy to their respective TCPA motions to prove Mignogna's status as a public figure and that their respective statements were made on a matter of public concern. Oh.
And Mignogna did not object.
I feel like I'm going to win my lawsuit. Mignogna did not object to Marshy's evidence or to her incorporation and adoption of the other party's evidence, and he did not complain about Marshy's evidence on appeal. Because the evidence generally established his public figure status and the matters of public concern, the error, if any, was harmless. Got him.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun. We overrule Mignogna's 7th point without reaching the merits of his evidentiary arguments. Okay. Because Mignogna raises no other challenges to whether appellees met their initial TCPA burden, we consider that burden established for our analysis. Here's their analysis. In his first, second, third, fourth, and fifth points, Mignogna argues that he met his burden to establish a prima facie case for each essential element of each of his claims. We reviewed de novo a trial court's ruling on a TCPA motion. There's why. In our review, we consider the pleadings and supporting and opposing affidavits stating the facts on which the liability is based. Regarding the non-movement's burden to establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each essential element of his claims, prima facie case. They're going to make me say it a billion times.
I think it's facie fasci, like tomato.
Prima facie. Oh, okay. So
facie fasci.
Prima facie case is given its traditional legal meaning, which is evidence sufficient as a matter of law to establish a given fact. Wait.
It is not rebutted.
Listen, okay, I hate to admit this to chat. Don't click away and don't unsubscribe. But when I had my little break, I had a little bong whip to accompany it. And so some of these words is different this time. I have to read it twice. So I'm sorry. Regarding the non-movement's burden to establish by clear and specific evidence a prima facie case for each essential element of his claim, prima facie is given its traditional legal meaning, which is evidence sufficient as a matter of law to establish a given fact if it is not rebutted or contradicted. Evidence sufficient as a matter of law. Okay, got it. It is the minimum quantum of evidence necessary to support a rational inference that the allegation is true. Okay, that's where I was. Got it. Now, I don't know how to say the word, but I feel like I know what it means now. Clear and specific evidence is not defined by either the TCPA or the common law, but our sister court has aptly summarized it as follows. Proof by clear and specific evidence is not simply fair notice of a claim. Rather, under the clear and specific evidence standard, a plaintiff must provide enough detail to show the factual basis for the plaintiff's claim. This is not an elevated standard, does not categorically reject circumstantial evidence, and does not impose a higher burden of proof than that required of the plaintiff at trial. Okay. Conclusory statements and speculative evidence, however, will not support the non-movement's burden. Okay. The TCPA does not forbid using circumstantial evidence or rational inferences to establish a prima facie case, but an inference is not reasonable if it is premised on mere suspicion or if it is susceptible to multiple equally probable inferences requiring the fact finder to guess to reach a conclusion. That's interesting.
So people making random suggestions about stuff.
Well, if it can be interpreted in a bunch of different ways, right? Requiring
Yeah.
the fact finder to guess to reach a conclusion. Okay. A, defamation. The elements of defamation cause of action are: 1, the publication of a false statement of fact to a third party; 2, that was defamatory or concerning the plaintiff; 3, with the requisite degree of fault, at least amounting to negligence; and 4, damages in some cases. A defamatory statement, that is one that tends to harm the reputation of another as to lower him in the estimation of the community or to deter third persons from associating or dealing with him.
Well,
Okay.
Nick definitely wanted to do that. Lower Monty's esteem
False
in the
statements
community.
of fact, defamatory. I mean, doesn't sound like Vic doesn't have a case. It sounds like he doesn't have a lawyer.
Right.
Oh,
They
just,
didn't
I didn't
attach
mean to be
anything
rude.
to prove their case.
Yeah, I mean, this is how many years ago? 4 years ago, and we read it kind of backwards. So
You have to have
take
proof.
all of this with giant grains of salt, with like a salt lick that a cow would need, or a horse. A defamatory statement must proximately cause damage unless the statement is defamatory per se. A statement is defamatory per se if it accuses someone of a crime or having a foul or loathsome disease or of engaging in serious sexual misconduct. Whether a statement is defamatory per se is generally a legal question. Statements of opinion about a public figure on matters of public concern are not actionable as defamatory because they cannot be proved false. Statements of opinion about a public figure on matters of public concern are not actionable as defamation because they cannot be proved false. This is where Nick is getting his foundation of what he thought he could say about Monty, right?
Yeah, I think.
Seems like it.
It's his idea.
That's why he's like public figures, this is public concern. You're like, okay, public concern or comedy. Pick a lane. Calling someone a sexual predator falls within the broader principle that a speaker's individual calling someone a sexual predator falls within the broader principle that a speaker's individual judgment that rests solely in the eyes of the beholder is mere opinion. Noting another court's explanation that unlike convicted felon, which has an objective verifiable meaning, sex predator is the sort of loose, figurative, or hyperbolic language that is immunized from defamation claims.
Yeah. So if he would have
Furthermore-
called him a sex predator and not a pedophile,
Because there's that's what they were trying to tell us up here. It can be interpreted in many
because a
ways.
sex
by many
predator
different
could just be someone who
right.
goes out looking for sex at the bar every Friday, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Or someone could see it that way. But a pedophile, there's only one way to see that.
Yeah. Furthermore, for a public figure plaintiff, an essential element of the defamation claim is that the defendant published the alleged falsehood with actual malice. In this context, actual malice means knowledge of or reckless disregard of the falsity of a statement. Proof of the defendant's state of mind. Wait, where was I? I scrolled. At the time of the publication. For instance, proof of the defendant's state of mind at the time of publication. The mere failure to investigate the facts by itself is no evidence of actual malice. Likewise, the mere fact that a defamation defendant knows that a public figure has denied harmful allegations or offered an alternative explanation of events is not evidence that the defendant doubted the allegations. Well, that's interesting. That's something I didn't realize, at least in Texas. The fact that a defamation defendant knows that a public figure has denied harmful allegations or offered another explanation of the events is not evidence that the defendant doubted the allegations. Oh my God, how dope, because this has two thoughts running through my mind right now. First of all, the fact that Nick met Monty in the throes of him denying his pedophile accusation might have less meaning than I thought it had. But the fact that Nate gave an alternative explanation for events doesn't excuse the fact that the average person might have seen what he said as I used these same tricks.
Ooh, very true.
this is interesting how it works, because they're both trying to use the same. There's
bookmark that Bentley Banton case then.
citing Bentley and Banton. The mere failure to investigate the facts by itself is no evidence. Is that one? And then this is Hearst and Skeen.
Yeah, just because someone didn't watch the whole clip of what Nate said doesn't mean that they didn't believe.
This is Texas, right? They're in New York and New Jersey. I'm just saying this is interesting thought that has been thought out.
But states will also adopt each other's things if it benefits each state.
If one of the, okay, yeah, I don't know.
Like if that benefited New Jersey for some reason, to the state's benefit, the state would like to adopt that.
Yeah, but I don't think they would do that in the middle of a case. Somebody would have to be from Texas for them to even consider it in the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not.
Or they would shop, like Nick was trying to shop fucking Colorado.
No, Monty was trying to shop Minnesota is what they decided, which turned out to be the best move for him. Well, it might be false because Nick is in Minnesota, like Kurt said.
They said what I said, that Monty sued him in the appropriate, like Kurt said Monty sued him where Nick lived, which is the appropriate place.
Right, but the judge said that based on at least two of the elements for which state's laws need to be applied or whatever, that it looked like forum shopping and that it could look like forum shopping on Monty's hat. I'm just saying what the judge said.
Yes.
But the fact that she doesn't actually bring up the fact that the plaintiff or that the defendant lives in that state. So it's not like some arbitrary state that he brought the suit in. That's what's confusing.
Which I think takes away the forum shopping.
Yeah. For a non-movement, back to this. For a, it's getting a little out of my house. For a TCPA non-movement to make a prima facie showing of the elements of defamation, the parties' pleadings and evidence must establish the facts of when, where, and what was said, the defamatory nature of the statements, and how they damaged the plaintiff. This is because in defamation cases, context matters. In construing a statement to determine whether it was defamatory, we view it as a whole in light of surrounding circumstances based on how a person of ordinary intelligence would perceive it. No evidence of actual malice as to martyria and Funimation. Mignogna argues that Marcy defamed him through her statement that he had assaulted her by grabbing her hair, yanking her head back, and whispering something sexual in her ear. Ugh.
Did he do it? Did she think he did it?
Defamed her through a statement that he had done it. In his First Amendment petition, he alleged that on February 8th, 2019, Marcy tweeted that he had assaulted her several years prior by grabbing her hair and whispering in her ear what he whispered she couldn't remember, that in the last week or so, I've heard accounts of him doing this exact thing to dozens of other women and that I personally know, and that Mignogna is a predator, quote, predator.
That goes back to the sex predator. He just wants to get laid. He's not a criminal. He might have tried to say, hey, do you want to go back to my place tonight?
But think about that face.
I know. That's why I say it's creepy. But it's not a crime, right? You're accusing him of being
I'm not going to lie. I would have thought that he was not into chicks.
Me too.
So this is weird.
Well, that's why the kid thing was more fucking...
This is the entire tweet. I stand with the victims. My experience is minor in comparison to many others. However, having realized this wasn't an isolated incident, I felt compelled to share. Several years ago, I was in the lobby at my job when I was approached by a coworker. This guy gave me the creeps already. He gave almost all the women at my job the creeps, but I always felt like I had to be nice to him anyway because of how revered he was in the industry. As we said hello, he stood to the side of me and started running his fingers through my hair. Now I do work in an affectionate industry. We hug a lot, and on occasion we will give a kiss on the cheek. But even for an affectionate environment, this felt off. I didn't say anything to him about it, although it was okay. I fucked that up. I didn't say anything about it, though. It was just his fingers in my hair. I didn't think it was a big deal. At that point, he splayed his fingers, put his hands on the base of my skull, and made a fist. When he did this, he grabbed my hair close to the root, effectively preventing me from moving my head at all. He then jerked his fist, yanking my head backwards and toward him, and whispered something in my ear. I don't remember what he said specifically, but I do remember it being sexual in nature. This was not normal. This was not just a hug or a kiss on the cheek. I did not like it. I have no memory of getting out of his grasp, but I assume, what the fuck are you doing, was part of my technique. Oh, well, she said, she could have said anything. What the flip? Afterward, I completely and utterly dismissed this experience. I dismissed the way I had been touched. I dismissed having this man grab me. I dismissed having my head jerked back. I dismissed the inappropriate comments. I dismissed the entire encounter. I never reported this event to the company. I actually didn't even occur to me that I should have. Although if it had occurred to me, I can't say I would have reported him. This guy was worshipped by his fans. He was worshipped by the studios because of his fans. He was the most popular voice actor on the convention circuit. Everyone treated him with kid gloves because he was the only one and only Vic Mignogna. Who was I? A nobody in comparison. I didn't matter, and I knew it. Risking being blacklisted from my work and convention simply wouldn't have been worth it. As I look back on this moment and discuss it with my family and friends, I can see that his actions qualify as simple assault. Would he have gone to jail had I pressed charges? I'm not sure. Why would people believe me over a man who holds Bible studies in hotel lobbies? And even if they did, what would they care about the truth if that meant tarnishing the reputation of their favorite voice actor?
And that's why they do it.
In the last week or so, I've heard accounts of him doing this exact thing to dozens of other women that I personally know. I am friends with these women, and we never told each other about our experiences. Some dismissed it, like me. Others felt too ashamed or scared to say anything. I struggle with the guilt I feel for having been so dismissive of his actions. Had I been able to speak up then, maybe less women would have had to experience what happened when they were unable to get out of Mignogna's grasp. Well, this is a lot. I totally believe
Like a
it.
Harvey Weinstein situation without the
It's exactly
masturbation.
this. It's exactly that. So many people dismissed it for the same reason. She's really articulating
Because
it
they
well.
all thought they were the only one.
Yeah. I'm speaking up now because I didn't even think about this event until I realized other women had experienced the same thing. I thought it was just me, and at first I didn't want to say anything because my experience was not nearly as bad as what other people had suffered at the hands of this man. I wanted their stories to be heard first because they were the important ones. But in this moment, I want the others who I know are out there to hear this. It wasn't just you. It's okay if you didn't say anything to him or anyone else. You are not responsible for that. I don't know why this is so sad for me.
Well, because you can put yourself in her shoes, right?
Yeah.
So all she was doing was telling the story that she experienced, and Vic and Nick and Ty tried to say that no, she's not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah. You do not have to be dismissive, ashamed, or afraid. Also, I hope if anyone ever goes through a similar experience, they will know from the start that their body is not up for debate. Their body is not property of the most popular person in the room. Their body is not responsible for a company or a show or an art form. Their body is most definitely not responsible for the reputation and livelihood of a predator. Okay, that's the end. I made it.
Right. So she didn't call him a pedophile. She called him a predator. Which,
Yes.
if Ty's just trying to get laid, like a poor guy that doesn't know how to hit on girls.
Whoa, Ty, Vic?
Vic, yeah.
Sorry, Ty. Yeah, Vic is... that's his grab him by the pussy moment.
Yes.
In her unsworn declaration...
And it may have worked for him once, right? Maybe the first time he tried it, it worked. So he's like, hey.
He thinks it works
girls
because
like
no
this.
one says anything. Because what she just described, no one has said anything. Well, bitches love this.
Yeah, exactly. So,
In her unsworn declaration, and that doesn't make it her fault. I can understand where she comes from, but I feel bad for her guilt.
Why it never stopped, yeah.
The guilt that she feels is what is that's the thing that I'm like, man, the Me Too movement sucks. Like, you guys are the reason that it happened to everyone else. Not the reason. Obviously, the predator is the reason, but you should have fucking said something.
Right.
You know, I have a hard time feeling sorry for somebody who
that's why kids who get
enabled
molested
someone.
always say it's their fault, right?
Yeah.
I did something
Yeah.
to deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. They think it's their fault. And she articulated it really, really well. Okay.
Yes.
In her unsworn declaration, Marcy stated that she decided to publicly state the truth about what Mignogna did to her in early 2019 after other women began coming out with the truth about various experiences with him, and that she did it so that other women who were victims of Mignogna or other aggressors would know that they are not alone, and to show solidarity and empathy with those victims. Marshy further declared that she had told the truth and had since been harassed, threatened, and lambasted by Mignogna supporters and his legal team, even though she had, quote, not made these statements out of malice or any desire to hurt him, end quote. And despite her own hurt and anger, Marshy stated, my intent in my outcry was always to provide an opportunity for healing and encouragement for bravery for both myself and other victims. In his deposition, Mignogna admitted to the incident involving Marshy's hair, but stated that it was not painful and was not hurtful and was not sexual, and it happened at least 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even longer, or maybe longer. And he denied ever having whispered anything sexual in her ear or having any sexual interest in her. It was not painful. It was not sexual, and it was a long time ago. So he's put his fingers through her hair, grabbed her by the base of the neck, and pulled her to him for explain it in a different manner. Help me understand what the fuck.
So he did do it, but
yeah,
he did it more gently than she said.
Yeah, and completely denying this thing that she's already said she doesn't remember.
You admitted to doing it.
Mignogna testified that Marshy had defamed him by publicly posting and mischaracterizing a very casual and brief interaction in public at the lobby at Funimation. And to his recollection, it was a very casual, playful interaction, as happens all the time in the hallways of Funimation.
So it was 4 years ago, but it was memorable enough for him to remember 4 years later.
Yeah, and he's like, and we always do that. However, he agreed that Marshy could have perceived the incident differently. He did not recall if he said anything in her ear, but said, if I did, it was literally something about, oh, I love your hair. Oh, or love it. It's awesome. He also agreed that Marshy was not the only woman whose hair he had pulled. And when asked if he had any evidence that Marshy did not believe the statements to be true when she wrote them, he replied, I can't answer for her. I don't know what's in her mind. I can't say whether she believes it's true or whether she was joining in to pile on. I don't know.
Wait, I could see smelling hair, like you would like grab a piece of it and bring it close to your nose to smell it, but not grabbing the back of a head to smell it.
No, not even smelling hair. Smelling hair is too far. Unless you got long ass hair like me and you're going to stay punch length away. You need not to stay out of my damn bubble.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But so like maybe
babies smell good too, and Joe Biden's not allowed to fucking smell them.
But grabbing her by the back of the hair in a fist, because he said he admitted, I remember doing that. That's the creepy part.
Yeah, none of it makes sense. He's a weirdo. Mignogna's TCPA evidence did not show that Marshy had published a false statement of fact, or that she did so with knowledge of reckless disregard for the statement's truth or falsity. Accordingly, the trial court did not err by granting Marshy's motion on this claim. We overrule this portion of Mignogna's first point. Rial. In his First Amendment petition, Mignogna alleged that Rial had made the following statement or had taken the following actions to defame him. January 16, 2019, Rial liked or retweeted a tweet by that Han Lea that accused Mignogna of being, quote, a homophobic, rude asshole who has been creepy to underage female fans for over 10 years. Hold on a second.
Creepy's not a crime. Homophobic's not a crime. Being an asshole is not a crime. And liking a fucking tweet is not a crime.
Hold on a second.
He said non. Oh, these were not.
My husband is tripping on the UFO. He came in and showed me the screenshot. He's like, oh, have you guys talked about this? I'm like, we're gonna. We definitely will. I haven't seen any of it. I know absolutely nothing, just like 2 headlines.
SpaceX just launched 22 more satellites last night or the night before.
Oh, cool. I don't know how long it takes for him to get here. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. He doesn't usually come in here unless it's important. So yeah, homophobic, rude asshole who has been creepy, and what Rial did was like or retweet, so basically endorsed.
But none of those things are crimes. So
not
being
yet.
an asshole is not a crime. Being creepy isn't a crime.
Mm-hmm. On January 17th, Rial liked and retweeted 2 tweets by Mars Girl that accused Mignogna of great volumes of sexual misconduct, that urged Funimation to reconsider hiring Vic Mignogna as a voice actor in the future, and that initiated the hashtag #KickVic. On February 6th.
Is misconduct a crime, or is misconduct grabbing her brother?
Great volumes of sexual misconduct. Yeah, I feel like that fits. She tweeted on February 6th, "It happened to me." Oh, someone tweeted, and that she was only one voice in a sea of many. He's hurt enough people. He's a sick man and he needs help. February 11th, thread under the Funimation tweets. Rial tweeted, sorry, I'm all over the place. "There were multiple investigations with testimony, proof, and evidence. Companies don't cut ties without those things. However, that information is classified." What? "I am one of dozens of men and women who participated. Stop harassing me." She also tweeted, "And just so we are clear, he's the legal definition. He's the legal definition of harassment. Harassment is governed by state laws, but is generally defined by a course of conduct which annoys, threatens, intimidates, alarms, or puts a person in fear of their safety." Okay. On February 19th, in a tweet, Rial accused Mignogna of sexual harassment, of kissing her without her consent, and of treating others similarly at conventions, referenced having spoken with investigators to corroborate the
Well, didn't he apologize for doing this stuff?
testimony. This is before. I think this is before. Testimony of others telling stories similar to hers, and spoke to Funimation's investigations. She stated the investigations were incredibly thorough. Each person was interviewed and evidence weighed and a decision made. Each company has to look out for the safety of their employees. In this instance, these companies felt they made the best decision to protect their employees and contract workers. Also, these companies aren't obligated to share any information with you. Many of the women who've come forward have chosen to remain anonymous, especially after seeing the way that I've been attacked. Please respect their privacy. Oh, that makes sense. It wasn't in the court. It was the company did an investigation and got rid of him.
Yes.
Mignogna argues that he specifically denied Rial's accusations against him, but to support his assertion, he primarily referenced his affidavit and Slosh's affidavit, both of which he withdrew before the TCPA hearing, and his unsworn declaration and the guy's unsworn declaration, neither of which the trial court considered because they were attached to his second amended complaint. They weren't admissible. Further, despite having attached Rial's entire deposition to his TCPA response, Mignogna provided no evidence of her state of mind with regard to the actual malice element. To the contrary, as to at least one of the complained of statements, Rial testified in her deposition on February 11th, that her February 11th tweet, which stated, "And just so we are clear, he's the legal definition of harassment, government, yada, yada, yada," contained a typo. Rial testified that she had intended to say, "Here's the legal definition." Yeah, that fucked me up too. I thought she meant to say "here's." She stated that she had copied and pasted the definition of harassment she'd found on the internet into the post. Mignogna provided no evidence to refute his characterization of her statement, and likewise failed to meet his burden to show a prima facie case of each element of defamation, particularly falsity and actual malice. As to Rial, in his
They took this
TCPA
man's
response,
money over that.
accordingly, the judge did not err in his motion. In this claim, we overrule Mignogna. Funimation. Mignogna argues that Funimation defamed him by publishing two statements about him that, when viewed together, conveyed a false and defamatory meaning. In his first amended petition, Mignogna alleged that Funimation had defamed him when it published the following tweet on May 11th, 2019. Quote, "Everyone, we wanted to give you an update on the Vic Mignogna situation. Following an investigation, Funimation recast Vic Mignogna in Morose Monokian Season 2. Funimation will not be engaging Mignogna in further productions. And we do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed at anyone. As with other defendants, Mignogna produced no evidence to meet the actual malice standard. Accordingly, the trial court did not err by granting Funimation's TCPA motion on Mignogna's defamation claim, and we overrule this portion of Mignogna's first point. No
So
evidence.
a company can fire you if they think there's too many accusations of pedophilia around when you are employed around kids.
It's not even pedophilia. There's just women he's sexually harassing in the workplace.
But like, even if they prove it's unfounded, like we know this isn't true.
He
but
apologized for it. It's founded.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, too bad he's lost it.
Even if the company finds that he did nothing wrong, it's untrue, for the protection of the kids and the reputation of our business, we're going to have to let you go, even though we know you did nothing wrong. There's just too much attention and too much focus on this situation and these children. I think a company can do that.
Probably with severance.
Yeah.
In the First
And
Amendment
I think that's what they did.
no. Well, they don't say that. They just said that they're not working with them. We don't know any of that.
No, that's what I mean. They never made any accusations, so they never defamed Mignogna. They just said we're not going to do business with them anymore.
Yeah.
And if people
Didn't say anything
speculate the
bad.
reason
Yeah.
why, that's not the company's fault. That's called speculation. It's not admissible.
The
in court.
second tweet, I think, is this: "We do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior being directed at anyone." Is that
Company
asking his
policy.
fans not to harass Mignogna, right?
That, or it's they're just stating their company policy publicly, which could be,
Oh, why they got rid of him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That could be taken two ways, I suppose.
Because maybe he was tweeting, I don't know, but maybe he was tweeting Real going, how can you say this? Stop saying this to me. Why are you saying this? That could be considered harassment by the company, maybe.
It says it's a February 11th, 2 tweets, and this one ends with and we do not condone any kind of harassment or threatening behavior. It sounds like leave him alone. Don't go harassing him. Don't threaten him. We're just not doing business with him.
Yeah, they're not.
Doesn't sound
accusing
like
him.
our company policy is this, and this is why we're firing him.
No, you're right. I think they're just saying, we let him go. Don't harass him. Don't bully him. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, so they got rid of that one for Funimation. And then no evidence of the context of Toy's tweets or actual malice. In his First Amendment petition, Mignogna alleges that Toy made the following statements or took the following actions. On January 26th, Toy tweeted that Mignogna was a predator. On January 31st, Toy tweeted he knew of at least 4 assaults by Mignogna and that he was glad to see conventions canceled. On February 1st, Toy tweeted that he knew Mignogna was guilty of at least 4 accounts.
The guilty one on 4 accounts might not be good. I could see that one standing.
Of harassment?
Yeah. Do they have
Why?
proof
If he knows
that
4 people? How do you know? I mean,
guilty of at least. How does he know they were guilty?
Guilty meaning he definitely
They could
did
be
it.
accused. But guilty.
Well, they're
to
his
me
friends.
determines,
Yeah, I don't
after
know.
a verdict or an outcome, right?
No, you're guilty of something. Whether you're guilty, like you said, if I fucking drive my car 170 while doing drugs, then I'm guilty of that. I just don't think I should go to jail unless you catch me in the act.
Oh, I had a good thing for that. You said you have to catch me in the act. What if someone robbed your house and you catch them on video, but you don't see them until like 2 days later? Is he guilty of robbing your house or no?
Yeah, that's doing
So is
something to
Hunter.
someone else. I didn't do anything to anyone. I drove
Hunter
myself
put
fast
everyone
in
on the
my
highway
car
in
and did
danger
my
that night.
drugs
That's
and
called
my own
reckless
piece, and I took my
endangerment.
own pictures. You always
It's reckless
in order to
endangerment.
win this, you always have to bring another person into it, because when there's another person involved, that's
He
different.
endangered the citizens of that state by
Who did?
recklessly-
He driving
Hunter.
that fast? You don't know that?
We do know that because that's above the speed
I
limit.
could have been driving on there. Doesn't mean there was another human there. There's so no. Catch me if you can. I'm 170. The cops ain't catching me. Wait, no. Do I not hear anything anymore?
And we're back.
Are you still here? Am I still here?
Yep,
Who's
we're here.
here?
We're back. We're back.
I need to go play a video to see if I can hear it.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't.
You can't hear me? Marco!
You
I can-
got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't kiss ya.
I can hear that,
He gon' find
unfortunately.
another girl and he won't miss ya.
Sorry about that. I'm back. Well, I don't remember. I have too
It's the
many
brain
damn.
worm.
Share this instead. Yeah, I don't. My speakers cut out. All I remember is you were wrong.
And Predator could be like there's UFC fighters where their nicknames the Predator.
Yeah.
So Predator's not a defamatory name. Person like
Because it could be taken in
necessarily.
different ways, right?
Yes.
Insider knowledge about on February 2nd, Toy tweeted that Mignogna needed to prove himself not to be a predator and that Mignogna is a predator based on Toy's insider knowledge about Sony's investigation. Oh, remember they said the Mignogna, or Nick, I guess, and the alleged fiance gave this insider knowledge. This is pillow talk. That's how insider knowledge, aka pillow talk. On February 4th, Toy tweeted multiple times that Mignogna was a predator, called him a perp, and posted He is down because he took advantage of girls, buddy. How about get a grip on reality and stop harassing people? Over 100 counts and still more to come, and you defend this sack of shit? Get a life. On
I'm
February
guessing
5th.
the 100 counts or 100 tweets of people going, "Me too."
Yeah. On February 5th, Toy retweeted an accusation that Mignogna was a predator. On February 6th, Toy retweeted over 100 women had made accusations of assault against Mignogna that were corroborated, that there were mountains of testimony, and that Funimation had proof. Listen, if it's fucking confidential, why is this dick talking about it? Toy needs to stop.
And retweeting something, why am I? If you write something and I retweet it, who's responsible? You are, aren't you? Not me. I just retweeted it.
Amber Heard would love that to be true. If it's retweeted, that's your endorsement. On February 13th, Toy retweeted, evidence. He has been fired. There was an investigation, and these actions have corroborated testimony. That seems true.
So that's
February
true.
16th, Toy retweeted, or Toy tweeted. I might have said retweeted when us all says tweeted. Now I'm looking up. This literally all says tweeted. Shit, I saw tweeted this whole, or retweeted
No wonder
this
I'm
whole
looking
time.
bad here. It's your fault.
Yeah, I got brain damage. I was hit in the head too many times during football. Okay, he tweeted. Wait, I read that. Tweeted. Let's see who walks away as a registered sex offender.
Okay, that could be bad. That's a bad one.
I'm okay, but not in the context of a public.
But it's a question, right? But it's a question. Let's see.
In matters of public concern, where it is literally, there's, according to them,
Children.
hundreds of people coming forward, a lawsuit,
And he works
and
with
all
kids.
and cancellations and businesses. It's obviously serious. This is public concern. Let's see who walks away. Is this an accusation or a?
That's a question. Let's. We're
Interesting.
gonna wait and see. Let's. That's what I say.
Their Funimation's decision was on things that happened to their employees. He
No one
tweeted,
else's.
Toy accused Mignogna of assaulting Rial. He did. In a tweet, Toy accused Mignogna of cheating on his fiance, assaulting ladies, and robbing fans. He's got a fiance during all this? Damn. Oh, here it says, Rial and Toy attached the affidavit of Mignogna's former fiance, who attested that she and Mignogna had dated from 2006 to 2010, were engaged from 2010 to 2018. What? 8-year engagement, bitch. He's gay. He's not gonna marry you because he wants dick. Allegedly, I just made that up. That's a lie, and I'm an asshole. The former fiance sponsored and attached a copy of emails she had exchanged with Mignogna between March 14th and March 22nd. In the first email, she accused him of having cheated on her with fans, friends, acquaintances, and strangers, including prostitutes, and of having systematically targeted dozens upon dozens of fangirls at least half his age. She stated that private wounds were cracked open by the public declarations of other women speaking up about the harassment or abuse you inflicted upon them. And since the few who came forward openly, so very many more have reached out privately to her and others, and all of them in tears, pain, and shame. Colleagues, cosplayers, fans, one of whom was underage at the time of her experience with you. And most heartbreakingly of all, members of your own Star Trek family. Fuck this guy. Well, isn't there a wood chipper available? Let me just check.
Did I not say I thought he looked creepy and I didn't know anything about this case, but I just knew I didn't like him?
I'm just gonna go to
Always
Amazon
trust your gut. Always trust your gut.
real quick. Let's just take a look and see. Oh, fucking A, better, even better. Harbor Freight has some in stock.
You can do payments.
This weird face will fit in there. You can do payments. Nah, we got this.
Because if it comes up, you're gonna want to send it back.
Can you believe that the people spent almost $300,000 because a couple lawyers that they liked told them that this was a case worth fighting, and they believed it? No wonder Nick only has $12K in his new fucking lawsuit.
Because they got burned so bad the first grift. Now this grift isn't fucking so flashy.
That was his ex-fiance that he strung along for how many years again? Did it say? They were together for 12 years total, right? 4 plus.
Engaged for 4, together for 4, 8.
Dated for 4, engaged for 8. They never got married. She left him when he publicly got accused of doing all this shit. And then she was in private trying to be like, dude, even to his face in private. He doesn't sue her. No, does he? She's
Your
like,
fiance doesn't break up with you over a couple of fucking fans' random accusations. They know you as a person. They know your personality. They know what you're like behind closed doors. They know these things. So a few accusations of fucking... No. I was right. I knew he was looking bad.
You get nothing. You get a second place trophy and you got to stay here and listen to the rest. Mignogna also alleged that Toy had tweeted more than 80 times that Mignogna had sexually assaulted or assaulted Rial, more than 10 times that Mignogna had sexually assaulted or assaulted 3 of Toy's very close friends, and more than 10 times that Mignogna had been accused of hundreds of possibly thousands of assaults. At least 7 times that Mignogna is a predator, quote unquote predator. Mignogna's pleadings and evidence had to establish the facts of when, where, and what was said, the defamatory nature of the statements, and how they damaged him. However, Mignogna merely attached 342 purported tweets by Toy without their surrounding context, with tweets to which Toy was responding, which is required to determine if a statement is defamatory per se. Further, the tweets referring to Mignogna as a sexual predator or variations thereof were non-actionable opinion. In his response to these emails, that's still the footnote, sorry. Non-actionable, okay, that's it. As with Marshy Rial and Fundations, Mignogna has failed to show that Toy had acted with actual malice. Because Mignogna failed to meet his burden to show a prima facie case of defamation as to Toy, the trial court did not err by granting Toy's motion on this claim and overrule the remainder of Mignogna's first point. Okay, we got rid of all of those. We're on to the tortious interference claims. In a claim for tortious interference with an existing contract, the plaintiff must show that 1, the plaintiff had a valid contract with a third party, 2, the defendant willfully and intentionally interfered with the contract, and 3, the defendant's interference with the contract proximately caused the plaintiff's alleged injury, and 4, the plaintiff incurred actual damages or loss. This one seems meetable.
They would have to have contacted the venues that asked him not to come directly. But if they just tweeted it and someone in the venue came across it, that's different.
Well, we're going to find out. Because it sounded like Rekieta tried to say that they contacted the owner of the venue explicitly.
That's what I mean.
The elements of a tortious interference with prospective business relations claim are: 1, there was a reasonable probability that the plaintiff would have entered into a business relationship with a third person. 2, the defendant intentionally interfered with the relationship. 3, the defendant's conduct was independently tortious or unlawful. 4, the defendant's interference proximately caused the plaintiff's alleged injury. And 5, the plaintiff suffered actual damage or loss. Mignogna testified that he averaged attending between 20 to 30 conventions a year, and by the time of his June 26, 2019 deposition, he had attended 9. He further testified that it was not unusual to not be invited to a convention he had attended the year before. Because one of the conventions has you as a guest, they don't typically bring the same people back every year because of the number of people in the industry, Mignogna added. In fact, I'm actually an exception because I do get invited back often to the same event. So if somebody doesn't invite me back, there's nothing really unusual about that. He stated that the number of conventions fluctuates from year to year, and while some would involve written agreements, others were based on oral invitations. Mignogna agreed that he did not go back to MetroCon Tampa in 2018 and was not invited back in 2018, that he had not been back to Anime Central since 2016 or 17, and that although he was at Tech something con in 2018, he was not invited back in 2019. Damn. Mignogna then repeated, as I said, typically with 70 or 80 voice actors and industry people, writers, directors, artists, they don't typically invite the same people back every year. Yeah, right. You're coming for the fact that they didn't want your creepy ass back.
Yeah.
Mignogna admitted in his deposition that with the exception of one convention, Comic-Con, is that really how you spell comic? Is this Comic-Con the whole time? If you knew how I thought it was, it's embarrassing.
I always thought it was a C, but this is legal paperwork, so it must be K.
He had no written evidence, emails, text messages, or anything to show that appellees had contacted or encouraged conventions not to invite him. Further, Mignogna was able to attend. Although Mignogna testified in his deposition that prior to 2019, to his knowledge, he had not been banned from a convention or asked not to come back, Rial and Toy's evidence, affidavits by convention officers, showed otherwise. And Mignogna's primary evidence to show that Rial and Toy had interfered with this Comic-Con contract, the guy's affidavit and unsworn declaration were not admitted into evidence. His primary evidence to show that they had interfered were not because. Okay. In his deposition, Mignogna acknowledged that he did not know of any instances when Funimation pressured a convention not to hire him or to allow him to attend, and he failed to link any specific Funimation statements to any lost business. Appellee's evidence also showed that there was substantial negative press arising from claims of other individuals made before, around the same time, and after Appellee's made the statements Mignogna complained about. And Mignogna failed to show that any convention's decisions not to invite him stemmed from appellee statements rather than from routine decisions or as a response to the negative press. On the record before us, Mr. Mignogna failed to present any evidence that he had a valid contract or would have had a valid contract by the interference, but for interference by Marshy, Rial, Toy, or Funimation. That any such interference approximately caused him actual damage or loss, or that he was not invited to a convention because of something any of them did. Accordingly, the trial court did not err by granting appellee's motion on these claims, and we overruled Mignogna's second and third points. All right, that was easy. I thought he was getting somewhere with that.
They're Nikki and Ty.
Damn it. Civil conspiracy and vicarious liability. A claim for civil conspiracy requires showing that 1, a defendant was a member of a combination of two or more. A defendant was a member of a combination of two or more persons.
3 people.
Oh, conspiracy. Oh, I was like, how the hell do you become a member of two or more persons? The
Did you not watch that girl with 2 heads yesterday?
I did. I thought of her this morning when I woke up sleeping on my stomach. I'm like, what if my twin was here with her scoliosis? I was so comfortable.
She wanted to get up. You wanted to sleep in.
The combinations. 2. The combination's object was to accomplish either an unlawful purpose or a lawful purpose by unlawful means. The members have a meeting of the minds on the object or course of action. 4, one of the members commits an unlawful overt act to further the objection or course of action. And 5, the plaintiff suffered injury as a proximate result of the wrongful act. So civil conspiracy and vicarious liability. But
they're trying to say that all these people conspired together, but they were all independent
2 or more
cads
people
on Twitter.
Accomplish an unlawful accomplish either an unlawful purpose or lawful purpose by unlawful means. They have to sit around and talk about it, and someone has to do it, and someone has to have injury from it. This plaintiff,
they're trying to suggest that all these people got together in Discord and planned this whole thing, but they have no evidence.
And the plaintiff's sufficient injury as a proximate result of the wrongful act. Okay. So, an actionable civil conspiracy exists only as to those parties who are aware of the intended harm or purposed wrongful conduct at the outset of the combination or agreement. A conspiracy claim is a derivative tort because recovery is not based on the conspiracy, but on an underlying tort. Vicarious liability is also a derivative tort. I don't know what this means. Explaining that vicarious liability arises only if the tortious act falls within the scope of employment. I don't know what's being said here. These are different things they're citing.
I'm trying to say if employees of Funimation tweeted stuff, that Funimation is responsible because they were employees of Funimation tweeting about Funimation other employees.
Broadly
so I'm trying
speaking,
to say that Funimation is liable because even they employed the people who made a lot of these statements too. Is what they're trying to say.
Okay. I don't know. Broadly speaking, vicarious liability principles impute liability arising from the conduct of an active tortfeasor?
Foreseer.
Tortfeasor. There's no other R. Anyways, to another party based upon a relationship between them. Because Mignogna failed to establish a defamation or tortious interference claim against any of the appellees, his derivative claim of civil conspiracy against them failed. Thus, the trial court did not err by granting the TCPA motion on this claim, and we overrule Mignogna's 5th point. Furthermore, without evidence of a tortious act by Rial or Marshy, Fundations could not be held vicariously liable for them, regardless of their employee or independent contractor status. Accordingly, we overrule Mignogna's fourth point. Here we go. Attorney's fees and sanctions. The TCPA, in effect at the time of the litigation, requires that the trial court to award to the successful movement reasonable attorney's fees and sanctions, among other items. Mignogna challenges the imposition of attorney's fees and sanctions, while Rial and Toy challenge the amount of their attorney fee award.
Ouch. Get him some lube.
His eighth point, well, he made almost $300,000. He's fine. In his eighth point, Mignogna argues that the attorney fees and sanctions awarded by the trial court are improper because Mignogna argues that the fees and sanctions are improper because the court improperly dismissed his claims against appellees. Because, as set out above, Mignogna's claims were properly dismissed under the TCPA. The trial court's order on fees and sanctions was not improper because it followed the statutory requirements. Accordingly, we overrule Mignogna's eighth point.
You ever seen the court beat somebody down with a wet stick? This is what it looks like.
Amount of fee award to Rial and Toy. In their single cross-appeal issue, Rial and Toy complained that the final judgment improperly awards to them an amount of attorney's fees $100,000 lower than the amount requested and supported by the competent evidence in their motion for fees. Hold on, I freaking closed the damn GoFundMe, but someone needs to go back and tell me what it was, because if it's the same amount, maybe they're not trying, maybe they want it to not hit 300 grand so they never have to pay.
Maybe that's the exact amount, and that's what they asked for.
That's fucking funny. They argue the arbitrary manner in which the trial court awarded attorney's fees, coupled with their uncontroverted evidence, requires us to reverse and render an award of fees because they faced a more complex fact pattern than Marshy or Fundations and were forced to respond to significantly more attacks by Mignogna. Rial and Toy pointed out their counsel had to defend two individuals instead of just one, and that they were the only defendants who were deposed and the only ones who answered discovery, as well as the ones who bore the brunt of bad faith litigation brought by well-funded plaintiffs bent on harassment and obstruction. Yeah. Standard of review and applicable law under the TCPA, a reasonable attorney's fees is one that is not excessive or extreme, but rather moderate or fair. The reasonableness determination, a fact question, rests within the court's sound discretion. When a claimant wishes to obtain attorney's fees from the opposing party, the claimant must prove that the requested fees are both reasonable and necessary, and these elements act as limits on the amount of fees that a prevailing party can shift to the non-prevailing party. A trial court abuses its discretion if its decision is arbitrary, unreasonable, and without reference to guiding principles. To determine whether evidence is sufficient to support the trial court's exercise of discretion, we consider 1, whether the trial court had sufficient information upon which to exercise its discretion, to which we apply the legal and factual sufficiency standard of review, and 2, whether the trial court erred in its application of that discretion, i.e., whether based on the evidence before it, the trial court made a reasonable decision.
Which they did.
What's the next word?
So Nick and Ty kind of fucked themselves by playing the let's drag this out game, which added to the billable hours of all the attorneys.
I don't know. A trial court does not abuse its discretion when its ruling is based on conflicting evidence, and some evidence of substantive and probative character supports its decision. When the trial court does not specify the basis for its attorney's fees award, we will uphold its ruling on any basis supported by the evidence. The Supreme Court has stated that the fact finder's starting point for calculating an attorney's fee award is to determine the reasonable hours worked multiplied by a reasonable hourly rate, and that the fee claimant bears the burden of providing sufficient evidence on both accounts. The fee claimant bears the burden to prove all of that. Okay. Sufficient evidence at a minimum includes evidence of 1, particular services provided, who performed those services, approximately when the services were performed. Oh, it says performed every time. I keep saying provided. Oh, well. The reasonable amount of time required to perform the services, and the reasonable hourly rate for each person performing the services. Reasonableness and necessity are not dependent solely on the contractual fee arrangement between the prevailing parties and its attorney. The base lodestar calculation should reflect hours reasonably expended for services necessary to the litigation and a reasonable hourly rate for the attorney to prosecute or defend successfully against the claims at issue. There is a presumption.
Filed something every single time they filed something, every time they withdraw
Extension.
something, every time they amended
Yeah.
something, every time they extended something.
There is a presumption that the base lodestar calculation, when supported by sufficient evidence, reflects the reasonable and necessary attorney's fees that can be shifted to the non-prevailing party. If a claimant seeks an enhancement of the base lodestar, it must produce specific evidence showing that a higher amount is necessary to achieve a reasonable fee, and considerations already incorporated into the base calculation may not be applied to rebut the reasonable and necessary fee presumption of the base calculation. Oh, okay. Most Arthur Anderson factors, the time and labor required, the novelty and difficulty of the questions involved, the skill required to perform the legal service properly, the fee customarily charged in the locality for similar legal services, the amount involved, the experience, reputation, and ability of the lawyer or lawyers performing the service, whether the fee is fixed or contingent on results obtained, the uncertainty of collection before the legal services have been rendered and results obtained are already incorporated into the base lodestar. The remaining Arthur Anderson factors, the likelihood that the acceptance of the particular employment will preclude other employment by the lawyer, the limitations imposed by the client or by the circumstances, and the nature and length of the professional relationship with the client may be considered in enhancing or reducing the base calculation.
Remember when that lawyer had to save Ty and Nick from submitting false evidence to the court because he caught up before it got to the court and helped them and saved them? And
that could be an extra circumstance, yeah. If a fee claimant's testimony is uncontroverted, a trial court is not obligated to award the requested amount. Attorney's fees may be proven as a matter of law in some cases by uncontroverted expert testimony if that testimony is readily controvertible, if untrue, clear, direct, positive.
If you hire Dr. Spiegel in your court case, you're not getting his fees.
Wasted your money. Better luck next time. However, okay, let's get to it.
Hey, cool frogs here.
Hey. The amount of reasonable attorney fees has become a frequent subject of the TCPA appeals and remands since something which, as said above, clarified the evidentiary standard for shifting attorney's fees. Let's see what they said. Oh, are we still in the same case? In Iola Barker, our sister court considered the appellant's complaint that the trial court erred by not awarding the full amount of their attorney's fees, costs, and expenses after they had prevailed on a TCPA motion. The appellants attached detailed billing statements and the affidavits of their trial and appellate counsel and their expert on attorney's fees to their memorandum in support of attorney's fees, and the appellees had responded with affidavits on attorney's fees from their own experts. The appellate court determined that the appellees' affidavits were conclusory and constituted no evidence to overcome the base lodestar calculation presumptive reasonableness. The court then examined the appellant's evidence. Despite that evidence, which reflected 219 hours of work and total billing after discounts of $59,000, the trial court had ordered recovery of only $7,000 in attorney's fees. So I was just talking about another case. That's what I thought. In contrast, here's another case. We recently considered, okay.
I think they're saying, like, if you have, like, a stupid bullshit speeding ticket case, you can't charge $10,000 for attorney's fees. Because it's so simple, it shouldn't take you fucking 99 hours to deal with your case. But this case, when they kept changing the fucking rules and they had to agree to individual guidelines with Rule 11, and they had to agree to that, they put a lot of hours in.
Okay. Trial court's attorney's fees. Here, it is ordered In its order awarding attorney's fees, the trial court labeled the amount of reasonable and necessary and awarded $48,000 to Marshy, the specific amount she had requested, and awarded to Funimation Real and Toy $50,000 each, despite their substantially larger requests. The trial court's order did not explain why it had reduced the fee awards requested by Real and Toy or Funimation, and the trial court made no written fact finding about the fee awards. When the trial court makes no fact finding, we infer all facts supported by the evidence that are necessary to support the trial court's ruling. Attorney's fees evidence. During the attorney fee hearing, each of the appellees' lead attorneys testified about their qualifications and work on the case. Mignogna also testified about the case, but presented no evidence to contradict Pelly's attorney's fees
You did
evidence.
no
That's
work.
not good. We will review all the attorney's fees evidence because the record makes apparent that the trial court considered all of it in making its determination. The evidence. The trial court admitted into evidence the billing records of Real and Toy's attorneys, and Jason Lemoyne, their lead counsel, testified he had brought unredacted billing account records to submit in camera if Mignogna's counsel challenged the redactions. He testified that in 2000 he graduated from Vermont Law School, licensed in Texas. Okay. He
The
stated
judge is
he was
basically
familiar with
saying
the
that your case was so easy to win. I'm not giving you that much money.
in researching Terrence County's attorney's fees, and Long testified that Wickfield's open. Okay, so they're just trying to go over.
You're not a super educated lawyer, so you're not worth $500 an hour. You're worth $200 an hour. Is what the judge is kind of.
Jeff Mills, attorney with 9 years experience, had an hourly rate of $470. Ethan, 8 years, hourly rate of $430. Zach, 5 years, hourly rate of $395. Blah, blah, blah. Stated that he arrived at reasonable fee based on analysis of Dallas-Fort Worth. Didn't try to ask for an enhancement. Testified about it. Okay, let's see what they said. Whew. Total after discounts. Damn. That's a homie hookup.
Right?
Y'all ain't homies. Lamont testified that Real and Toy's fees through October 31st amounted to $271,000, $271,000 and change. The trial court admitted into evidence a summary of Lemoyne's testimony. Okay. Based on the invoices, he worked at
invoice dates are like each month that something was submitted to the court.
This is all the times that they worked, how much they worked, what he estimated. Lemont's estimated $11,000 for fees through November, blended rate of blah, 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 multiplied by 30 hours. She requested a total of $282,953.80. He acknowledged that the $282,900 whatever amount was bigger than in other TCPA cases, but explained. This case had a layer of complexity to it that you don't typically see in a defamation case. The first issue is that it primarily deals with Twibble, which is the people's combination of Twitter and liable. What is this new? Twibble. Damn, they just having a little Twibble. Don't you worry about it. There was no real case law on Twibble, so you have to research outside of the state of Texas for that. What? Okay, whatever. He made this up.
So he's proven why he worked so hard.
Yeah. This is him doing that. He further testified that beyond the motion to dismiss itself and other findings, there was the notary fraud issue. There it is.
I told you.
You're good because you're right. They had to go above and beyond their scope to fix this for the other team.
I'm not just a pretty face.
And the second amended petition filed 3 days before the hearing.
So
Lemoyne
backroom tricks
testified, that he had not billed his clients for time spent watching YouTube videos posted by Rekieta, who had set up Mignogna's GoFundMe site and to whom information about the litigation had been leaked. Lemoyne said that he watched the videos because Rekieta, quote, would actually say things we would see showing up in motions and in hearings, and because he tells us what the plaintiff's legal counsel is thinking. Otherwise, I would not watch him. Fucking lawyer can't shut the hell up.
His own client by talking too much.
Oh, he stated, I had to suffer through those, but I didn't bill the client. Only one of us had to suffer through that, and they shouldn't have to pay for it, so I did it.
Nick, you helped the opposite team. You scored an own goal.
Damn it. What a dick. This is if Nick probably loves that this lawyer is spicy. Too bad he's getting shit on, but ooh, that's funny. Lemoyne also said that he had reduced an invoice by an hour because it's having to deal with the death threats that are caused by what is being said about this case outside the courtroom has nothing to do with defending the TCPA motion, and he could not pass it along to the other side. That's his clever way of saying there's been death threats, but I didn't bill for those.
Right.
Okay, let's get to it. Their evidence. Lead counsel testified that I just want to kind of know what the court said.
We're worth big money. That's what they want.
The next guy's evidence. Okay, I'm sure it's good.
We're highly educated. We're not just fucking strip mall lawyers.
Mignogna's counsel did not put up any controverting attorney's fees evidence. When asked during closing arguments if he thought the amount of Marshy's fees were reasonable, Mignogna's counsel replied, Miss Marshy's attorney's fees, in general, yes, they're fairly reasonable. Trial court's additional comments. During the hearing's conclusion, the trial court, obviously troubled by the range of fees from $48,000 to $282,000, stated, if you brought me a repair bill on a car or something, and one is $48,000 and the other one's $282,000, you can't say those are both reasonable, or that the $282,000 was reasonable in it's the same cause of action. Analysis. As noted above, we recently addressed the award of TCPA attorney's fees in another case. In that case, we observed before concluding that the court's attorney's fees awarded was against the great weight of preponderance of the evidence. That a trial court is not, of course, a mere rubber stamp or bean counter, even when evidence of attorney's fees is controverted. A trial court is not obligated to award the requested amount. And as part of its exercise of discretion, the court may consider the entire record and common knowledge of the participants as lawyers and judges in making its determination. The record shows...
Look, these two idiots, lawyers, are fucking idiots. Don't punish Vic because these two are idiots.
Oh my God. The record shows that in his original petition, Mignogna sought over $1 million, and that in his First Amendment petition, he changed the amount to over $1 million, but not exceeding $5 million. And as set out above in our TCPA analysis, Mignogna brought substantially heavier allegations against Real and Toy, who were disposed as compared to Marshy and Fundimations, who were not deposed. Did I say disposed? I meant deposed.
Yes.
Although each party faced the $5 million lawsuit, Mignogna's case against Real and Toy was more complicated and therefore required more work to defend against it. Real and Toy attached 19 exhibits, some with multiple attachments to their motion, and many of those exhibits were affidavits acquired from witnesses around the country. In contrast, Fundimation attached 24 exhibits to its motion, but 3 were affidavits from Fundimation and Sony employees, 16 were online news article, and 1 was Mignogna's internet movie database listing, and the remaining exhibits were Mignogna and Fundimation's tweets, all easily obtainable information as compared to Real and Toy's exhibits. As to her TCPA motion, Marshy attached her tweet, her declaration, Mignogna's deposition, and Mignogna's electronically stored information preservation and cease and desist letters. But she also incorporated and adopted by reference all of Fundimation and Real and Toy's evidence attached to their TCPA motion. So they had great lawyers, it sounds like.
Yes.
The trial court...
Judge is trying not to punish Vic for Nick and fucking Ty.
We'll see. The trial court had before it evidence from 2 other legal teams on the same side as Real and Toy, those of Fundimation and Marshy, from which to help gauge reasonableness and necessity. Real and Toy's attorney had higher rates than Marshy's attorneys. There were more attorneys working for Real and Toy, and their attorneys performed substantially more work on the case for Marshy's counsel, as supported by their respective billing records and their respective TCPA motions. Lemoyne, Real and Toy's lead counsel, was licensed in 2000. His principal associate Milshin was licensed in 2011, just 3 years after Marshy's counsel Johnson was licensed. Fundimation's lead counsel Volney, who was not a TCPA expert, was licensed in 97
expert lawyers.
and lacked Lemoyne's experience, but otherwise had a comparable hourly rate to Lemoyne. Others that had other than the outside counsel hours, Volney had billed similar hours for Fundimation. So they're just trying to do comps, right?
Yes.
By awarding essentially the same amount, the trial court apparently failed to factor in all of the testimony addressed addressing expertise and experience, as well as the distinction between a large firm's billing rate and a small firm's billing rate, and the fact that Marshy's counsel had leveraged the heavy lifting by Rial and Toy's legal team to prevail with significantly fewer hours at a slightly lower cost. Rial and Toy's legal team, although it had more expertise in the subject matter, also had higher billing rates and more people, which they used to address the novel issues raised in this complex case that were not reached on appeal only because Mignogna failed to preserve or brief those issues. Rial and Toy's team also had to address significantly more allegations against them, as set out in our analysis above. On the record before us, the trial court had ample evidence upon which to exercise its discretion. However, the trial court's comments made apparent that the record otherwise shows that despite the Ramroos-based lodestar presumption of reasonableness and Rial and Toy's evidence, which was not controverted by Mignogna, the trial court abused its discretion when it awarded to Rial and Toy collectively just over 1/3 of their requested amount in attorney's fees. Although the trial court was not obligated to award any of the specific amounts requested by the parties' attorneys and had the discretion to reduce the amount of attorney's fees, the trial court abused its discretion by asserting such a significant reduction in light of, among other things, Marshy's counsel's testimony that he had made use of their additional work and heavy lifting in the case. Whoa.
I piggybacked off of them, right?
Yay. Contrary to the trial court's comments about car repair bills, legal services are not fungible, nor was Mignogna's case against each defendant exactly alike, and the trial court should have properly calculated each base lodestar with that in mind. Ooh. Rial and Toy each support the base lodestar calculation with more than sufficient evidence. Therefore, there is a strong presumption that the amount calculating using the lodestar method can be shifted to Mignogna. Mignogna offered no evidence to controvert Rial and Toy's presumptive evidence. The fact that other co-defendants, lawyers with differing levels of experience and clients with different postures in the cases had different fee totals was not sufficient to rebut the presumption raised by Rial and Toy's lodestar evidence. Accordingly, we sustain Rial and Toy's cross issue and remand this portion of the case for a redetermination of a reasonable attorney fees award in light of the standard. Oh,
You hired a McDonald's worker to make hamburgers. I hired Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay should get what it's worth.
Having overruled all of Mignogna's points and having sustained Rial and Toy's sole cross issue, we affirm the trial court's judgment except for the attorney's fees amount awarded to Rial and Toy. Having determined that the attorney's fees amount awarded is not supported by factually sufficient evidence, remand this issue to the trial court for redetermination in light. Dude, you should have just left it at the loss, because it turns out you had to pay. What was it? They won't get the full attorney fee, right? But they're getting way more than $50,000.
Way more. Yeah. Like I said, it's Gordon Ramsay money versus the McDonald worker money.
Dude, I can't believe we just went through that for 3 hours.
It looks so bad on Nick and Ty. Like,
now we know a thing, though, right? We're like that much smarter about this Vic thing since I wasn't around for it and you decided not to watch. Yeah.
I thought Nick and Ty had this like killer case and they were trying to like do the right thing, but they were just fucking Vic over like Randazza's fucking Nick. Karma is a bitch and real.
Oh, man.
Because they did no work on his case.
Do you think they just got overpowered by so many other lawyers like Rial and whatever?
They didn't put a case on for the McDonald's lawyers. They didn't do any work, right? That's why they only got $50,000. The case was so fucking easy to win that those lawyers only got $50,000 each.
I can't believe it. That sucks.
And they almost got caught.
So when Rekieta says that Montagraph has a history of being litigious, it doesn't seem like it's Montagraph.
No, you always accuse the other of what you were guilty of to muddy the waters.
But if you're a lawyer and your friend is in this much shit and you believe him, you don't believe the people, you don't believe the wife, you don't believe the evidence, you don't believe your eyes, you just believe him. Do you go out on this type of limb?
How did Vic Mignogna get connected to Ty and Nick? That's my question.
Hello, anime voice actors. Like, hello, he's a big deal.
But they raped poor old Vic. They raped him for so much money and then made him pay other money because they were so stupid.
They told him he had a case when it didn't seem like he had much of a case.
Randazza told Nick he had a case because he likes
Nick
this
told Nick he had a case, and he thought he'd bring in the big guns to fucking show his homies that he had money to burn. Well, show him, dude. Take it to trial, I guess.
Okay, so now we know why lawyers are on the internet, because they can't lawyer.
That might be part of it.
Well, wouldn't they be busy doing lawyer stuff and not being on YouTube?
Yeah, I think that Law and Lumber has.
If I could play rugby right now, I wouldn't be on YouTube.
Yeah, but you would be like, say you would be to again. I look at Law and Lumber.
That's when I like actually opened YouTube. Is when I finally like stopped playing rugby. I needed something to do. I didn't use YouTube at all until I quit playing sports.
But okay, but say there was. I'm trying to make some kind of equivalency. So Law and Lumber is still an active lawyer who's very, very busy, and it's a start of him joining in because this Depp case was giant and it was in Virginia. He began a YouTube channel, but at first he was like, I'm too fucking busy to do this. I do woodworking and I do law. I do my hobby and my job. And so what he decided to do was just record his hobby. So he doesn't have to do anything extra. He's not wasting his time. He's just also sharing his other things. So I think there is a way to have two things. You just have to, you can't have it all. You have to figure out, draw real boundaries and then make it happen. Because I do think he's a successful attorney who's able to manage being a YouTube personality.
DUI guy or Nick?
I was talking about Rob from Law and Lumber in Virginia. Yeah. DUI guy is another one. He does still practice. I think he's probably the most
active lawyer out of all of them.
DUI guy?
I think he does more cases and processes more clients than anybody else.
I don't know. Maybe because his are what they are.
Days, so he can pound them out.
You're probably
right. Which means he's more experienced. Hours in a court in front of a judge, he would have more total hours.
He's more experienced saying certain words, but not in general. Not, you know what I mean? Like,
no, in his law, like everyone has their specific speciality of law.
Yeah.
And in his speciality of law, he has more hours in front of a judge and in front of a jury
probably
than most lawyers do.
Most of the ones we see on LawTube, I would say.
So I would consider him probably the expert in like trial law.
What?
Procedure, not like the best lawyer.
But he would have the best hours. I don't think so. I think there's probably he probably has 4 moves in his toolbox and he uses those and he wins or loses on them. I don't think if you suck him in trial for any, as a trial guy, I don't think that's pushing it. I think he's probably just good at what he does.
But his DUI trials are trials. Like if he was like a murder.
You're right. I don't know. Okay, you might be right.
And his speciality, that's all I mean.
Yeah.
It's like if you were a black belt in a martial art, he would have a black belt in whatever he is, where everybody else has like a brown belt just below it.
Yeah, I guess.
Doesn't it suck when you have to agree with me?
But it's not like that. No, I'm not giving this one up yet. No. So he has a black belt or actually, I would say he has.
So he has a black belt in Taekwondo, where other lawyers have brown belts in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes. Okay. It's a different thing. And probably a brown belt in jiu-jitsu could kick a black belt in Taekwondo's ass, but that's not the question.
Right. True. That's true.
Okay. Then yes, I'm back with you.
In his discipline. He's more
but that doesn't make him better. It just means his discipline might be easier to get to the top of.
True. But he's still more of an expert in his discipline than everyone else is in their discipline.
So what? He eats Crayola's better.
What law does Joe do? Does Joe have a case? Doesn't he have a case?
Joe does.
Isn't he in a case right now?
Dude, I'm glad you said that. Someone did say that. I need to close some of these windows, maybe. Joe was doing. What did he say? God, he said it one time. He
in a case or.
No, somebody did yesterday say that he was in a case. I didn't understand it, but I'm trying to remember what law he practices.
Like, I'm surprised these lawyers aren't talking about all the cases they have won and how they won them and what their great move was that they won with.
Maybe they did at the beginning of their channels. I was watching one show one time. Oh, it was it was Good Logic, and he had the debate with the several lawyers about letting the bunch of guilty people free or whatever.
Versus one innocent.
Yeah, versus locking up one innocent. And just casually, Runkle brings up the time that he changed your constitutional rights in Canada for search.
I remember that.
Yeah, he just brings it up like it's nothing. I clipped it. I'm like humble
Right.
king.
See, I think lawyers would more want to talk about that.
But they don't, I think. I don't think they understand how important it is. And then if they do, how often do you talk about it? You move on to other shit. I don't understand why they don't just talk about other shit. They would rather drink.
Because they're always looking for content, but they're looking for news stuff and then talk about that instead of going, hey, I had this case one time where this guy fucking did XXY and I got him off, even though I know he was guilty. This is how good I was.
Hit or miss, I guess they never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't kiss ya. He gon'
I'm so proud of her for getting $1 million out of this.
Is it not insane?
It is.
It's creepy.
Never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't
How long do you watch it before you realize nothing else is gonna happen?
That's it. Go to type in the guy who watched it, and you can like speed run his fucking suicide,
What?
basically.
The guy who watched
Hit or miss 24-hour challenge.
Hit or miss. This is a 24-hour challenge. Okay.
So that little clip that she's singing, that's only like 10 seconds of a long rap song.
Hit or oh no, what am I doing? On the wrong thing. Hit or miss
Challenge.
24. Or just challenge.
Just try
Let's just do
challenge,
it.
'cause I might just give you a 24-hour loop of it. It's a bald guy.
These are shorts.
Go to filter by length. Over 20 minutes. There he is. Black hat, t-shirt.
This guy?
Yeah. This is some hard way to make money.
What is this? Hold on, I almost skipped this commercial. What's happening?
Don't you wish your phone was fun like this?
Yeah.
Don't you wish your phone looked more like this?
Don't you wish your phone was?
Don't you wish your phone could flex like this?
Not a bit.
No.
Hey, what's up, guys? Bone Clicks here, and today we're gonna watch this
Bone
hit or miss thing for
Clicks.
10 hours.
Thanks for the content. He's really gonna do this.
He's really gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay.
We got miss ya.
But he's into it for at least 40 minutes.
First 30 minutes is funny.
I guess you learn the lyrics first, right? That's a good idea.
Oh, West Khali. Okay.
There you go.
Hit or miss. I guess they didn't miss, huh? I got the boyfriend. He never gonna miss ya.
No, he's
hit the job and didn't find another way.
no, he's gonna have to do this for a couple hours. You know. It got hot.
Tired. He's only 2 hours in.
Oh wait, what have I done? This is suicide goggles.
Yeah, anything to stay awake.
Oh, that's funny. Second win.
Miss Mia Khalifa, right? So do you want to hit or miss Mia Khalifa? They're like, yes, I want to hit that because she's so beautiful, right? Like that's like saying like, would you want to hit or miss like fucking Hillary Clinton or something like that? Like, no, I don't really.
That's a miss.
You know, like I don't really want to. No, thank you. Like I'm not into Hillary Clinton. You know, like not a sexual way.
Yeah, you are.
He's not so happy there.
Oh no.
In headphones. So he's listening to this in headphones for 10 hours.
Nah, he took one ear out. He needs sanity.
Oh, his eyes are fading.
Won't this 10-hour grind wear you down for Nightcrawler? We need to be fresh and woke. Yeah, but I gotta make some fucking money, dude.
Oh, you're right. There it is. I gotta make some fucking money, dude. This is the grip. Do you make money off of this? I don't see him making money.
That's what he's hoping for. People are waiting till the end when he starts to fucking lose his mind, and then they start fucking.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do filters. That's hilarious.
Miss.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite filters. He's still on the lyric. He's almost 7 hours later, and he still can't get these 15 fucking lyrics right. Holy shit. Hit or miss. This is a miss. Oh,
Pick it up
hell yeah.
easier than this.
This is what's up. When Madcore does this, it is hilarious. Just switching through good filters is one of my favorites. Uh-oh. Why does he have this wig in his life?
He's trying to stay away.
I guess I never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend, I guess I better kiss ya.
Oh, yeah.
You got a boyfriend, I guess I better kiss ya.
Oh, yeah, he lost his poor mind. What happened here? He's going to use her as a filter? Yes. How many wigs? Okay, why is that the most replayed? Yeah. Bad decisions, bad choices. Yeah, listen to it more. That's a good idea. Wait, what?
It's another
I'll
hour.
come back for the last hour. I'll do the dance.
Oh yeah, he should have been practicing the dance this whole time.
Hit or miss.
Ants,
I
white
guess
boy.
they never
There he goes. Here he goes. Put your arms up. You see him up.
Hit or miss. I guess they never miss, huh? They got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't kiss.
This is the state of YouTube.
4 years ago, it's worse now. They fuck dogs now.
I can get it this time. I can get it perfect
Yeah,
this
you
time.
can. Yeah.
Wait for it to reset.
He's waiting for it. Yep.
Hit or miss. I guess I never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't kiss ya. You can find another guy, he ain't gonna miss ya. He's gonna swerve and hit the dab like Wiz Khalifa. Woo!
That man has a son.
Well done. Well done. He nailed it.
Could you do 10 hours?
Nope. I guess because you can chill with chat and you can still Google shit and you can learn the dance and the lyrics.
I wasn't seeing no money coming in though. That was the bad part.
Yeah, I wonder where that shows up.
Is that his goal at the bottom? $610?
Oh, let's see at the beginning.
Yep.
No, because it's changing.
It went to $595 because you scroll back.
Uncable yourself.
Yeah, but
with
the
Frontier
total
Fiber Internet.
changed.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, souvenir.
Or maybe
You know what
he
I'm
met
saying?
the goal and he keeps raising it. Oh, maybe
All
that's the number of times it replays.
Oh, I bet you that's
10
it.
hours.
Wait, of 500. No, that wouldn't make sense either. Let's see what happens when they gets to the end.
Huh?
Huh? Oh, wait, what have I done?
Make that your wake up tune.
Oh my god, so much better now.
Hit or miss. I guess I never miss, huh?
It's like a rap version.
Yeah,
Huh,
this
hit or
is
miss.
it.
I guess I never miss, huh?
Oh my Lanta, how long
Guess I
does
never
this
miss, huh?
take?
Keep browsing. Hit or miss. Your heart out.
Come on, move.
You see any money going through the chat at all?
Hey, I am Jax.
Subscribe.
Jax, last idea. I think it's what it is, huh? I got a boyfriend. I got a
Oh, wait.
I guess I didn't miss. Subscribing.
How did I miss it?
Hey, I am Jax.
Wait, what the fuck? Oh, pause. I gotta stop the fastness. Okay, something happened. It switched over quick, so it must be something.
Bone clicks? Who's bone clicks?
Hey, I am Jax.
So it just went over.
Last idea. I'm Jax. Last idea. Thank you so much for subscribing. You're now a sub. You can post all sorts of shit. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Maybe he gets points
Thank you,
for
dude.
subs. Woo! And they met a goal.
I guess I did a miss, huh? We got a boy.
Well, when does it reset? Teach us your game. Oh wait, there it goes. Wait.
I wonder if he keeps bumping up the goal every time it gets right at the goal.
All right. If we hit this sub goal,
Yep.
Yes,
There it
sub the
goes.
deal. It's not a money goal. It's a
Then
sub
what?
goal.
Then
oh,
what?
no, I can't say it. I don't want to do it.
Say
I
it,
don't wanna do
faggot.
I'll
You
do it
just-
another 10
I don't
hours.
want to do it.
Say it.
what he
Commit
was
to
gonna
the
say.
24, faggot.
That's what he was gonna
I was gonna
say.
say if I.
Do it.
Say it.
No, I don't want to do it.
Do it.
Say it.
If we hit.
Do it.
I don't want to say it.
Come on.
I don't want to say it.
Hit or miss, I guess they never miss, huh? You got a boyfriend, I bet he doesn't
Come on.
kiss ya. Why he gone? Find another girl.
This is
and
better
you
than the
both
rest
miss
of
ya.
the
He
video.
gone. SKR.
Come on, do it.
and hit the
Well, then I'll fucking dance to it the entire time, but that's just stupid. That's
Yeah,
just so
that is
stupid, dude.
That's
That's
weak.
just so stupid.
That's
That's just so
So
stupid.
he makes a dumb goal. Who cares?
Yeah.
We're done with you. So let me close.
That's
some
hit
of
or miss.
these.
You'll never get that song out of your head.
Yeah, well, these are my friends, so I don't know why I'm making fun of that guy.
Hey, at least Cool Frog and Shizzy didn't drink the cum.
Yeah, good job, Frog Man.
That impressed me. I was like, no, don't drink the cum. Don't drink the cum. And then when they
Don't
said, we'll
drink
do a shot. And like, oh,
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
ask him. Had he been prepared, would he have done it? You know, maybe he doesn't have eggs or something.
It's like peer pressured into it.
Oh wait, is he in chat? I forgot that
was
he
a
showed
while
up.
ago.
He probably left to kill himself after we started going through the damn those the last of the lawsuit. That was 70 pages, Vic Lasagna.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot.
Learned a lot.
Yeah, we did we?
Well, we
I've already
fortified
forgotten.
our position that Nick is an idiot and that nobody should ever listen to Nick's legal advice.
Legal advice, yes.
On any
But he isn't yeah.
ever.
Good thing he was never a law channel because that would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, right. He's just a fucking degenerate channel.
Now think of the type of logic he's applying to his own case. Oh boy. You never know. You never know. I do have a slight question about Nick's case. And I did say it before and I was like, I don't know if it matters. I don't know if I should say it live. Nah, I'm not gonna, because I'm not gonna. I've said enough dumb shit. We're at 3 hours and 20 minutes. About ready for obligatory bong rep. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure my speakers weren't out. Since I don't have anything playing, it's hard to tell. We've been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
I didn't even notice. I was laughing at Nick and his inability to be a lawyer.
Yep. Well, I mean, thankfully he found his calling as an interview artist on the
Yes.
interwebs.
His
Having
kids
this
would
get
starve had he been a lawyer.
Probably that's people that's the thing. People are going to use him no matter what. They want to start. Other people would
No,
have
because he
starved.
couldn't work anywhere because even Schneider wouldn't let him work in the basement of the strip mall.
Yeah, but he got his own place. That was his big fuck you. He was going to open up his own little.
And how did he get clients?
I can't remember. I don't know. They just
Show up
walked
at his
in.
house? Did they walk by and see the sign on his house?
No, it's not in his house. It was he. I think he said he started a real place.
I think he started a company out of his house.
I don't think so. I think he had a business, and then
He's
once
only
he
talked
started to
maybe
do,
about 5 or 6, because he said he used to do just like contracts and wills, and he had like maybe 5 or 6 like real clients.
but I still think he had a business, an actual build. Yeah, he did. I know because he said that they were shutting it down. It was that part of it was going to come to an end, and then it was kind of sad because they Lady Rackets liked taking the kids to Dad's office.
Who was
I
shutting
think
it down?
the Reketas, because they didn't need the actual physical office anymore. Reketa Law, Reketa Media. I don't know what the fuck he's called. But that was, I remember him saying that in
Because they had no
somewhere.
clients to pay the bills.
Because he was probably making more money on YouTube. So he's like, why would I do that? I could still be a lawyer. I could still take clients if I want, but I don't need to have a whole building here with
He was not
with
making that money
utilities.
on YouTube until recently.
Exactly. So that's why he would have shut down the other one, because he couldn't afford them both. But he's still a lawyer. He could still take clients. He could still meet them at damn Denny's or something. I don't know. Starbucks. I think that's probably.
After seeing all these fucking cases, I wouldn't want them.
He's very convincing. Those lawyers have a way with words.
Like P.T. Barnum, you know, you go to the carnival talking to playing those games, you think you can't, you know, you think you can win, they know you can't.
You could win.
Look how easy it is. Just knock this ball over, and they throw the ball and they knock them all over. Like, yeah, I can do that. And then they glue the fucking bottles down, and you're there $30 in with a fucking straw.
I went to the fair with my friends years ago.
I love the guys the most. The carnies are my favorite.
They're so funny. I was with my girlfriend's husband at the time. They were, I don't know where she was. She was with the kids on something, and he was trying to win her a stuffed animal by tossing this ball into a basket. And thank God I recorded it, because it's one of the most hilarious moments. But every single thing, he's like, the wind, you put your hand up, you're in my way, let me try again. I'm like, dude, you suck at this. You actually can't win this game. But he didn't care. He had to keep trying, because there was always some excuse why he didn't make it.
It's designed against you.
Yeah, but you're right. Like $30 later, he had the small version of the pickle, and the wife didn't even know there was a bigger version. She was so, oh my God, you won this for me. I'm like, that was cute.
Right.
He did.
Meanwhile, if you know the carnies, you go, I'll give you $20 for the biggest stuffed animal back there. And he'll go, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so easy anymore. The last fair I went to a few months ago, everything was digital.
No.
And the carnies have their own way to fuck you out of the system.
The carnies out here in Canada, it's still fucking paper tickets and quartered gambling and
these ones, it's like, okay, you can't just give $2 and play the game. They're like, you have to have money loaded on your wristband, and it's 10 plays. Well, 10 plays is like $5. It's too hard to figure out. And the carnies will go, hey, it's just 10 plays. Do you have wristband here? Use mine. And then next thing you know, you see him spending it's just weird. You're like, wait a minute. So it would have cost me, I don't know. It's weird. And then they have just like, you know, when you're at the grocery store and they're like, do you want to use your rewards card? And you're like, I don't have one. They're like, it's okay, I'll use mine. And they use theirs. And then it's that. Whatever's happening, something there is.
Rangers has $2.8 million in rewards.
Yes, exactly.
Which if I was wagers, hey, why not?
Right. I think it's fine. I just wish that I was smart enough to figure out the carnies game. Because I'm like, oh, something's happening here. I feel like I just got screwed, but I can't do the math. So take all my money and give me the smallest point.
Was a carny, and he says, like, these are all the tricks. Everything's rigged against you. They'll let you win 2 or 3 just so the people around you see you win, and then they fuck those people.
We started with talking about the stages of sleep and literally never clicked into this again.
Lucid dreaming. Control your dreams.
It's so interesting. It's really interesting that you do you do it a lot?
I used to. When I smoke weed, I don't. That's what I think we talked about this a year or something ago, that if you stop smoking weed, you get lucid dream again.
Yeah, I never stopped smoking weed when I lucid dreamt, but I think I did try to not smoke. Hold on a second.
Yep.
You're gonna make a recreation of Mario? How about I'll give me 5 more minutes, I'll get off of here, and then I'll see your thing. He's doing such cool things. He's making. Okay.
I didn't hurt his ego by telling everybody he went and got his swole on before he took his shirt off. I didn't do that.
Yeah, you did. Oh, I did that. That wasn't an ego hurt. That's what I would have done.
I know. That's what I said. I would have done the exact same thing. I didn't notice it until you said it, though. I just noticed that he put his hands behind his back in an awkward, casual way. I'm like, that's not normal.
No, he had to stretch so he can get his pump on real quick.
10 quick push-ups.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Cool Frog didn't think about it. He should have been like, 1 second, guys. My hold on. Click. Push-ups. All right. I think we're going to end. My son wants to show me his new edit on Mario, which is so funny. He's doing such funny things. I think I want to put him on my channel. They're silly. They don't make a lot of sense, but they're like his little creations. I know that other kids would get a kick out of it. So maybe I'll put it as
channel and you control everything about it.
Yeah, you can't. So he did have a channel, but he's too young, so he's not allowed.
You make the channel. It's all you. You just upload his videos.
Yeah, I have a channel, and so I'm just gonna upload his video as a kids only video.
Oh yeah, you can do that too.
So I'm not gonna. He already had a separate channel that was, it was mine, but it was his, and I messed up and I let him go live, stream live, him playing a game. And they're like, no, he can't be live because there's comments on a live. On a kid's account, there's no comments, which is definitely better and was definitely my bad. So
Gotcha. That way the pedophiles can't go, hi, you're so good. Email me.
exactly, because grooming starts in such like you just can't see it. They're so good at it.
The government usually does it in the
And
school.
at first, it's just like, you're so good at this game. Wow. And then just to get them to finally say, I'm glad you think that. No one thinks that about me. Oh my
Here,
gosh.
I can give you an upgrade. What's your IP address? I'll upgrade your character.
Yes, things like that. Yeah, definitely. It's sad to think. Because just like that old lady.
It's not there, so they don't have a fear of it.
Or old man or whatever that we started with that lost $2 million. It's the same thing. Little kids are susceptible to people's...
Super susceptible.
Yeah,
That's why
they just
grooming in schools bothers me.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. I have this story that one of my friends tried to get someone to talk about live for a long time. And it's like, I don't know, have the right time or place. I'm not sure who is the right person. What's the full story? What does it look like? It's about that Desmond kid. Do you remember him? Let me see if I can find
Yeah,
him.
that kid, everyone around that kid should be arrested.
Yeah. Was it Desmond that entered The Amazing? That's what it was. Desmond the Amazing.
Yeah, they made him strip at bars and stuff and get money tucked in his... Yeah. This kid never had a chance. They abused him. They manipulated. MK Ultra'd this kid. I hope he sues the shit out of everybody. But what I think is going to happen, I bet he's going to have a suicide, and they're going to blame it on bullying and not on these fucking people who did this to him.
Well, I mean, or not, hopefully. But she sent me pictures, a couple of pictures that were demonstrating the grooming. Oh, shoot. Every time I hit back, it stops sharing. That's probably fine because we need to be done. But I reached out to her a week or so ago to, tell her that we were live streaming Rumble and that this might be a good time to talk about that. And I haven't heard back from her. So we'll see. It's sick, though. Like, that kid is backstage with grown people that are nude. And it's like, this is fucking gross.
At adult strip bars.
Anywhere it's gross. But yeah, he was also there.
Everyone around that kid should be arrested, especially the parents. Would chipper them all.
Yeah, absolutely would chipper them all. Desmond is amazing.
Doing this to him when he was like 8 or 6.
I think you're right. And somebody in his family, I think, like, see, I don't know the case well enough, but I'm pretty sure, like, maybe, I don't know, someone was like, this is wrong that was around them. But I don't know. I don't know the story, but it would be fun. Not fun, but it would be worth it maybe to talk about. So it's out there somewhere.
Definitely, we can do that once I'm done.
But the next thing we're going to talk about on Monday, are you ready to have that voting debate about who should be able to vote?
Yes, I am.
I'm not, but I will be by Monday for sure. And I've got Google right here with me. Chat will be there. I don't think they agree with you. I don't think chat will agree with you, but it is fun to get their pushback. They're good people. If they get frustrated, they will just give us the middle finger, click off, and they will be back. If they're my friends anyways, because they hate.
I'm not arguing to get it changed. I just think it should.
Yeah, and I think by now we've streamed for the last couple of weeks. People know that you're a little more extreme when you have an opinion.
Yes.
You don't mind thinking way far out of the box. Yeah,
I like to be challenged.
Yeah, that's fine. It makes it easier for me because it sounds so crazy that I just get to laugh. But then, like halfway through, it's like, yo, he's serious.
Look, I think Taylor's innocent.
Taylor is not innocent. She did eat that guy.
She did that, but she's not responsible.
Oh, okay. Damn it! By reason of insanity. Got it. All right. So we will be back Monday morning at 9 a.m. California time, noon Eastern time, 1 o'clock if you're in Nova Scotia, 3 o'clock, I think, if you are in the UK, but I could have that time all the way wrong.
No, I think you're right.
All right. Then we'll hope to see all of our friends then. Thanks for going over this. Did Moose just get here?
Yep.
Oh,
well, he was
Moose.
a bit ago. He came back.
Good to see you. We are finishing up with our nonsense. Actually, Madcore is having a show tonight. Oh, my Lanta. I think it's in 3 hours. I got to figure out my life. I think Madcore has a show soon. He's doing like a law tube who do we like, a tier of best and worst. So I
Oh,
got to
yeah.
show up just so I can make sure everyone gets properly shit on.
Yeah, you can't let someone get too far ahead.
Yeah, nope. Experts winning this. I don't care who you are. Fight me.
Who
And
do
I'm
you think's
at
bottom,
the bottom.
dead
If
last?
Legal bites, and I don't think she deserves to be there, but I know she's gonna be there. People fucking hate her.
I'm with Nate the lawyer,
As last, people love him.
but they shouldn't.
It doesn't matter. People are stupid. This is going to be the court of public opinion. You're about to see how lame it could get.
Am I wrong? Do you think?
I don't think Nate's last. I think he reaches across the aisle a lot. He came on when Kurt struck me to actually talk to me personally and be like, what are you looking for? What I do have.
So you're biased. Okay.
I am biased. I did read his lawsuit. I do not think he's correct in that. So I'm able to control that bias, just for the record. Yeah,
his
Anna.
position on Trump is sanity how?
That so just because I like you doesn't mean I think you're always right. He is, but I don't think that puts him at the bottom of the lawsuit list. In other words, I appreciate that he
tried to help Nate with that, try to like understand that he's not right, and he's like, "Fuck."
Nobody's helping him. That I think that I think that.
And
I mean,
if he just
Emily
yells
even
louder-
covered it. Emily D. Baker even covered it. So we should maybe even look at that. It's funny that they would cover that one, but not Nick.
Yeah, I haven't
Maybe
seen Emily's version of it. That'd be interesting.
Bouzy, yeah, she went. We could watch that like Tuesday or something.
Yeah,
if you wanted to. If chat
You're
cares,
right,
chat might
because
hate
we'll
it.
remember come Monday.
I only have property owner voting written down. That's enough, and fight milk, but I can cross that out. That's disgusting.
So for future, you got to have the Bouzy,
Emily D. Baker,
Emily D. Baker, and what was the other one?
I forgot.
Voting rights.
Got that. I have that. That one for sure is happening Monday. Unless like super breaking news happens. Wait, did you hear that? Or I don't know if it's true. I saw a headline. I'm such a clickbait whore. I didn't click it though. I'm just a headline whore, it turns out. But that Sam Bankman-Fried gets a charges dropped against him.
Yeah, of course. There's an election coming up. How the fuck are they going to fundraise without the number one fucking donor? What do you think talking about UFOs right now?
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
Right?
Maybe there's another.
He's getting out of his charges and tax evasion for billions of dollars. But look at that UFO over there.
You know what we could do? We could do the body language experts talking about the UFO guy. So just as a homework for you and I, we could watch his testimony before Congress so we know what it actually looked like in full without them telling us anything. And then when we watch the body language guys, we can sort of have better input maybe.
Yes. And something you don't know, because I'm in a different realm of YouTube, is the military wing of YouTube. You'll see the FBI will put people on. There's through the circuit of all the military channels. So when they're talking about UFOs, they all pop up at the exact same time on all the channels. Like, oh, okay, this is fucking Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah, got it. Okay, that is interesting. So we could actually, if we had the time and remember, go through and look at that and be like, see, here's the narrative. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, because it happens all within 3 hours. All these different channels have the exact same guy or the same story on. Like it's stupidly on top.
And unless that's the whistleblower, then you don't need that guy. You could have many dudes should be saying, okay, cool. I closed down every tab we had open, so I have no more rabbit holes to scroll down. Thank you for being here, chat. We'll see you guys. Me, personally, I'll see you guys tonight on Mad Chords. Nova and myself will see you Monday morning.
Peace out.
Adios.